How do we know if we're live?
We are live.
Are we live?
We are live.
Will we know though? How will we know? Keyp says we're live. Good morning, everyone. If we really are live, wherever you are in the world, would you please tell us we're live? A few people are telling us we're live. Boy, howdy. Is that something they say where you're from, Amy?
No, I've never heard that before.
You've never heard? Oh, come on.
I have not. Sorry. It's getting off to a great start.
All right.
Boy, howdy.
No, that's okay.
Is that
boy.
Texas? Where's that
could
from?
be. My mom's from Texas, so I got some Texas in me. Well, okay. Boy, howdy. Do we have a show for you today? Okay. My name's David Price. I'm one of the co-founders of RedwoodJS, and little nostalgic here, a little history. But 1 year ago, April, we launched Redwood version 1 publicly, and we were really excited about it. By we, I mean the entire community, not just the maintainers and core team of Redwood, but the entire public community of Redwood was really excited to talk about what Redwood was, where it had come, and what it could do. And one of the highlight events that we did in April of 2022 was the RedwoodJS Startup Showcase. We were changing our language around Redwood to be the app framework for startups. And we had an amazing, I think there were around 13 demos from not just startups, right? Indie devs and projects that were getting started, but also, fully fledged companies. And it was amazing and really fun. So I have been dreaming about doing this again. And here's the problem is we had so many demos come in that I couldn't say no. The event got a little bit longer and it's going to be a blast. But if you don't know about Redwood, it is a full stack JavaScript, TypeScript application framework. You can do all these beautiful things you need for a proper backend to work. You can do all these wonderful things on a web client. It comes with React, GraphQL, Prisma, Storybook, Jest, and all these other wonderful technologies baked in. It's really well integrated with the DX inspired by Rails, and people are building some pretty amazing things. So you're going to see some of those today. Amy, who are you?
Awesome. My name is Amy Dutton. I am the director of design at Zeal, and I'm also a lead core team member for RedwoodJS. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm
happy you're here too.
Well,
I'm happy I'm not alone. And I love to talk to myself, but it's so much better when there's someone with me.
It did not take much to get me to buy into Redwood. So kind of a brief story there was David came on a podcast that I host and started pitching Redwood, and I was like sold within 5 minutes. So I am a huge fan of Redwood and the framework, the community, and everything that it has to offer.
And what are you excited about today, Amy?
Oh man, what blows me away is just the versatility of Redwood and all the things that people are able to build. So it's like you provide a tool, a hammer, and it just all the awesomeness that people are able to use with that particular hammer. So I'm excited to see all the different use cases and all the different projects that people have been able to build and the places that they've been able to take Redwood.
Well, we have 20, scratch the 21. We lost someone to plane flights getting delayed. So Chris at Everfund won't be able to join, but we have 20 demos today, and it's going to be a good time. So if you're not stoked yet, get stoked. It's going to be good. Shall we begin?
Let's do it. So up first on the agenda is we have Pullflow, and we have Zach joining us. We can pull Zach in, and I'm excited to see what you've been working on, Zach.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Hi, everyone. I'm the founder of Pullflow. We are very excited to be here because we've been part of the Redwood community for over 2 years, also contributors to the open source project. And it's been awesome for us. And I'm really excited to come back here and give an update on our product. So let me just go through the slides. We are a group of developers, I would say, as a startup, and we want to focus on developer collaboration. We feel compelled to focus on that because the world is changing for software development. 88% developers are remote, and 40% of code is already written by AI. So we think that with this changing world, there's going to be new challenges, new friction points, and we want to go through, use our skills to improve the new world. And so we decided to take perhaps the most ubiquitous collaboration point, which is code reviews, and talk to several companies and realize this was pretty common, where all the collaboration kind of gets into the situation where it's just chaotic and really, really inefficient. The code review process is probably the best place we can help as a company. And I think everyone who's done code reviews, large company or small, has experienced this. This is why most developers don't like code reviews. But code reviews are very valuable to both teams, companies, and individuals. And what we want to do is make the process more unified and more take advantage of new technologies like AI to make the whole process as smooth as possible. Typically, a developer would write code in their IDE, then they would create a PR, go to GitHub, and they'll try to collaborate with other folks in GitHub. They have to get the other developer who's reviewing will get notified through email or Slack. And then if they have questions back and forth, they may go to Stack Overflow or ChatGPT. This whole process requires a lot of coordination and context switching, which, as we developers know, it takes away our flow, and that's painful. So what we're doing with Pullflow is that we're trying to create a unified platform where all the code review conversations can happen seamlessly, and you can forget about tools and platforms. So bringing in all the different actors, whether it's CI/CD, humans, AI, apps, Slack bots, GitHub bots, project management tools, all in one place so that you can converse wherever you are and as naturally as possible. We are currently in beta, and we're very excited to have some amazing customers who are giving us tremendous feedback and helping us build a great product for everyone. So let's jump into a demo. I'll show you how the product works by taking a scenario of a dev team going through code review. So we'll start with the setup process. And so here, it's a Slack conversation. You invite the bot into your Slack channel and immediately asks you which repos to connect. So we connected the calendar repo. And that's how easy it is to set up. It's a bot that sits within Slack, so it just takes a few seconds to set up. Okay, so the whole process for the conversation kicks off when you have a code review. Once a code review happens, it can come from VS Code or GitHub. We create a thread in Slack, and everything that happens from this point onwards happens here. And you can converse freely in Slack or in GitHub, as you can see, and also not worry about identities, because we take care of making sure that the identities are synchronized. So you can tag people in Slack as Slack users or in GitHub as GitHub users, and they'll get notified in the right place. So we'll switch gears to the reviewer, or actually another participant, and show you from their perspective. So Henry was tagged in GitHub, and in Slack, he was notified. And as you can also see, everything that Wanda did is showing as Wanda. So it's not creating entries in Slack as a bot then disturbing Wanda. It's all the same. Henry wants to assign this PR that went a little too fast. And he's trying out asking Pullflow if you could just request a review from Uma, and Pullflow takes care of it. So Pullflow automation, just tell Pullflow to do something and it'll take care of it. And you don't have to go to GitHub if you're part of the conversation in Slack. Now Uma wants to do the code review, but she's in VS Code. So let's see how that looks like. So she's in her IDE, and we have a little IDE extension where she can see all the different work that is assigned to her that needs to focus on. And inside the IDE, she can just ping the thread saying, I'm working on it, drop some comments in the code review, and it will show up in Slack with links, deep links into the specific comments. All right, so now let's look at the AI part that we've been very excited to work on. I think this is a game changer when it comes to conversations with AI around code reviews. So there is a comment about JavaScript dates that the developer and the reviewer are discussing. And so they're saying that the JavaScript dates, do they start with 0 = Sunday or 0 = Monday? And without really asking anything else, they can just ask Pullflow, is that true for JavaScript dates? It has all the context, so you can immediately answer the question. and has everything from Pullflow's PR context in there and all the conversations that happened before, and also can provide sample code that they can then copy and paste. So as developers and reviewers have conversations and have questions, they don't have to jump out to go to ChatGPT, copy the context, and then copy back the code. It's all part of the same conversation. And the difference between here is like individuals can have the conversation, but as a group, they can also chat with the AI and get to the resolution. So another place of integration is that not everything is done by humans or AI in code reviews. There's also systems operating in code reviews. So we have linters and check runs, CI/CD deployments. We bring all of that into the thread as well. So real time, you can see the check runs are running, they passed, and reviews are being approved, and so on. If you are using Linear or Notion and those things are writing to your GitHub pull request, they will also show here. So essentially everything is in one place. And then lastly, I want to show you this new feature that we're working on called the pull request dashboard. I've found that there's no good way to know exactly what you want to work on. And when you really want to work on your own code and you have to switch your context to somebody else's code, you want to only work on the things or be interrupted or not even be interrupted, be able to just glance at it and know what you need to work on and in and out back to your flow. So we've been working on this PR dashboard that is available to you in Slack. So if you're in Slack and already in the middle of a conversation, you can just go to the Pullflow home tab within Slack and you can see things that are waiting for you. And you can press discuss and then open up the thread right there. And now I see that, okay, everything is done here. So I can just tell Pullflow to approve this and it's done. And it disappears from here. Similar to how we had it in VS Code. And so in summary, what we're doing is we're taking the code review conversation and all the different actors that are part of the workflow, and we're bringing them into one place. And it's all in Slack. It's also synchronized with GitHub, as you saw. So you can do searches in Slack or in GitHub, and in real time, you can just have the conversation more naturally. And Slack is the more natural place for conversation. So you don't have to switch back and forth between the tools. If you are already in VS Code, you stay in VS Code. And this may seem simple, but this reduction of context switching and reduction of friction actually makes a huge difference. And with all the customers that are using the product, they're all still actively using it as part of their core workflow. And I want to highlight one customer reported the numbers that they're seeing a 4x reduction in time to merge. And we feel like we're just getting started. There's a lot more we can do. So we'll continue to build. We'll continue to build on Redwood. But that's our core product. And I would love it if you also try it for your team and give us feedback as we inch closer and closer to our 1.0 release. Thank you, everyone.
Zach, thank you so much. I love, there's a lot I love about Pullflow, but one, it highlights, we use Pullflow at RedwoodJS, so definitely take Zach up on using Pullflow. And two, getting to start with Zach, one, he's been an incredible member and participant in the community for so long. But what's been wonderful about Zach, like the app, is it's truly a multi-client modern product that's running on Redwood, which is really exciting. Zach, thank you. Thanks for kicking us off today. I just love having you a part of this community, and thank you for taking me up on kicking things off. So next up, we've got ItList. And you're going to get to know Katerina, Paul, and Stan and what they're building, and we'll bring them up now. Ooh.
Hey guys, so we're Team ItList. I'm Katerina, founder and CEO, and I'll be walking you guys through the product demo in a bit. In a nutshell, ItList is a curation tool for online coaches, experts, and content creators. We're going to show you the product and get into how it works, but in the interest of time, we'll just jump through quick intros.
Hey guys, I'm Paul Korver. I'm co-founder and president. I'm going to be speaking at the end about some of our numbers and traction. So I'm going to turn it over to Stan.
Hi guys, I'm Stan, CTO of ItList. Just quickly, why we choose Redwood. We choose Redwood because of the quality of the community, the quality of the technology it's using. Also, the onboarding was really important for us. And so we're using serverless on AWS with, pretty standard with DB-Auth and a bunch of other third-party tools that I don't have time to go through. We're just using Cypress for end-to-end tests. We're proud of our end-to-end test suite. And yes, that's it.
Awesome. So we're gonna, before we jump into an actual product walkthrough, I'll just show you guys quickly how people are discovering ItList in the wild. I'm going to share my screen. And so we're getting a lot of discovery from organic shares on social media like this one. And also in stories like this one. So this is an example from a Gen Z life coach and therapist that we have on the platform. She's sharing a post that she did about anxiety for parents with anxious teens. And up here, she's linking her anxiety ItList. So if somebody clicks on an ItList link from an Instagram story like this, they get taken directly into the ItList experience, which includes all of Dr. Melanie McNally's content about anxiety, her product recommendations on anxiety, voice tips from her, creating additional context around what she's curated here. Which really humanizes the experience and is very different from other platforms that creators use today. And this really streamlines things for the end consumer and brings content, product recommendations, voice commentary from the expert together. So if we jump to Dr. Melanie's ItList profile, her profile is organized by topics that she's known for. So she talks about habits, self-confidence, etc. Down here, she's got her ItList on these topics. Some are free, some are paid. Somebody can really quickly filter her ItList library by the topics that matter to them personally and get to the specific ItList that they need. So let's jump into the actual backend and see how these things are curated. This is our example ItList HQ account that we have as a resource for creators. This is the dashboard that they see with their ItList library. If we want to, for instance, edit this ItList that has to do with building a capsule wardrobe, we will just jump into the editor here. It's a side-by-side visual builder, so you see your ItList coming together on the left-hand side and you're curating on the right-hand side. The first tab is basic info. This is where creators do things like the cover image, the title, the voice intro, descriptions, assigning topic channels, who this helps, bullet points, and testimonials. And you can see all of that reflected here. Step 2 is where they actually curate their content. So if we, for instance, want to add another video to this ItList, we can copy the URL, jump back into our builder, do add content, paste the URL, and the editor will pull in the image, the title. We can change this if we want. We can record a voice tip with additional context talking about how people should watch this video, save it, play it back, see it reflected in the preview here, and we can go ahead and, if we're happy with this, save and exit. We support a few different content types, so content, products, PDFs, text, voice tips, which gives creators a lot of versatility around how to curate their ItLists. And step 3 is pricing. Creators can either give their ItLists away for free or sell them for a price. We're super excited because 100% of the paid ItLists published on the platform have sold multiple copies, some many multiple copies. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this demo and hand it over to Paul, who's going to take you through some of our traction and
yeah, so guys, we've been building, we started in January 2022 and we built for 15 months. It's a long build, but as you can see, it's a minimum lovable product at minimum. People love the product. It looks great. We launched 7 weeks ago and we don't know if we're going to the moon yet, but we are seeing some cool traction numbers across a lot of different important metrics. These are week over week traction. This is waitlist signups, creator engagement, time spent building ItList, 44% week over week, follower engagement, 108% week over week, and creator revenue, 180% week over week. So we're encouraged by that. And one thing that hasn't happened yet is we haven't had any superstar creators actually share ItList. Most of the creators have between 5 and 50,000 followers, but people like Lucy Fink, who I'm about to show you, she has 1 million followers. And she's, for the last 3 weeks, been working on her motherhood super guide that she's going to sell for $100. And this is her announcement to her 1 million fans. Just from this announcement alone, she got a bunch of interest in people buying it right then. So take a look.
I'm not sure your audio is working on the video clips.
Audio's not working on the video clip?
No.
Wow, that's a bummer. So she's basically talking about her motherhood super guide, which is an ItList, and how it's the best thing that she's ever created for the internet. She's super excited about it. So she's going to be sharing that in the next week to 10 days. We think that that's going to do a lot. She's just going to do a ton of business at $100 each. So we're excited to have that case study and to reach out to other creators. Where we're at and how you guys can help us out is that we're raising a bridge round, a $300,000 bridge round. We opened it about 3 weeks ago, and we have 125K wired so far. So there's 175 left in the bridge round. If you want to invest, our minimum check size is 20K. Any angel investors you may know. Then also creators or people that are sharing their knowledge with an engaged online audience, maybe in the dev space, maybe in any space, podcasts, newsletters. Send them our way and let them check out ItList. That's all. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was fantastic. I can tell you that you guys have done a lot of work on the UI side of it, which I also love, but the product just looks fantastic. So thanks for joining us. The next up, we have Matt Dupree from Atlas. Here we go. And I'm excited to hear what you guys have been working on.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for bringing us on. We're excited to be here. We also have David too, but I'm Matt. I'm one of the founders of Atlas. I can't say I'm the CEO. It feels a little silly. There's just two of us, but yeah, one of the founders of Atlas, and I'll hand it over to David to say a little bit about himself.
Cool. Thanks, Matt. I'm David. I'm the CTO of Atlas, and we're super excited about using Redwood. It's been just like a wonderful developer experience. It's allowed us to get a ton of work done in a really short amount of time, and great to see everybody else here too. So I'm going to hand it back over to Matt to do our demo.
Yeah, awesome. So just really quickly want to give you some context for what we're building. So basically, we think that the way that we help people use software is broken. A great example of this is AWS. I know we're a lot of developers here. Whenever you're if you want to use something in AWS, there's a lot of things that you can do, and it's easy to get lost in the product. And so oftentimes you find yourself Googling around about how to do something, and it's kind of a bummer experience because you're looking for docs that are sometimes outdated. You have to leave the product to kind of get help. And so what we're doing is we're using AI to actually give a more Google Maps-like experience for people when they're lost inside of software, when they need help. What does that look like? That looks like in-app, click-by-click directions for any task that a user wants to accomplish in real time. That's a little abstract, so I'm going to show like a 30-second kind of concept demo, and then I'll show you what we're doing in Redwood. So here is Atlas running on top of a product called Amplitude. And you can imagine, maybe you don't know how to do something in Amplitude. It's a complicated product. The thing that the user doesn't know how to do here is to create a graph that shows the count of user sessions over time. You can see they type that in the prompt bar, they hit enter, and then that prompt bar turned into a little yellow orb that's floating around the screen. And it's telling them where to click inside of the application in order to get to the screen that has the task that they want. So you can see they're going to click this last thing and wind up on this this chart that they were kind of asking for. So that's the experience that we're trying to build. And the way that we're doing this, I know we have a technical audience here, is we're basically building a crawler that does this kind of Google Maps for applications thing. It's like the software equivalent of when Google sent the little cars driving around the world to map out the world. Like, we're trying to do that in software with this crawler. And so we're building that, with Redwood, and we're also building a back-end experience that our customers can kind of use to create these kind of guided walkthroughs for their end users. And so that's what you actually see right here. And you can see this is a data notebook product that we've kind of mapped out here. And so these are all the different destinations in the map, if you will. These are all the different screens and states that the app can be in. And so, within Redwood, they can kind of see the map and modify it. And they can also see how effective our tools or our technology is and actually getting the user to the right place. So we're using large language models to do this. A lot of people are concerned about the reliability of these models. And so a big part of what we're building here with Redwood is designed to give people confidence that users are going to wind up in the right spot. So we have these test cases here where people can type in what the user will type in. So in this case, like create API token, and then they can see where in the application the user will be brought to. So if the user types in create API token, they can click this and they can see, okay, this is where they'll be brought to within the application and kind of confirm that it's actually working properly. Mark, thanks for saying, wow, I think you're talking about this. And yeah, I think it's really cool. So we're going to do something a little interactive here. I'm going to ask the audience for like a query that they'd like to kind of suggest. And the query that we want to suggest is should land the user to this page. So this is about creating some sort of data integration. You can see the text on the page. It says create a data connection. So we don't want to just like create a data connection. We don't want that query. Like, can somebody suggest a query that we can type in and hit submit and then see if it lands us on the screen so that we can kind of demo the smarts of the LLM? I'll wait 10 seconds. Then if nobody comments, then I'll just suggest one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just type in configure data integration. And you can, so, this is something that a user might type in if they don't know how to do that within this application. And you can see that the text on the page, this says create a data connection, which is a little bit different, right, than the user's query. But if you submit this, you can see, let's actually zoom out and come over here. If you click this, you can see it takes you to this screen. So that kind of demos some of the LLM smarts that we're building into this. I'll say one more thing, which is, we're building this crawler piece. And so there's a part of the Redwood app is to help people configure the crawler as it actually builds out the application map. And so this is something that we've been working on for about 3 months. I think it speaks to the power of Redwood on how much we've been able to build. Right now, we are looking for design partners. So if this looks really interesting, we know we haven't nailed like the experience yet. And so we're looking for early design partners to help us kind of make sure we nail the MVP and build the right thing. We are also raising money. And so, yeah, if you know any investors or you want to kick the tires on this thing, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter or David. Thanks for listening. And yeah, we love Redwood.
That looks amazing, Matt and David. Well done. I'm excited to use that. I'm really excited to just be a part of your startup journey and the iterations you've gone through. It's been really fun to watch. Thank you for being a part of this community. And you had a 20-second delay on the live stream. And so anyway, Martin came up with a good one. So interact with him on chat. Thank you, gents. Next up is a man who barely needs introduction, Peter Pistorius, a co-founder of RedwoodJS, who literally bootstrapped the code for this project back in 2019. Peter, we've gotten older. Peter's going to tell us about Snaplet, which is the reason he doesn't hang out with us every day. But we still get to see the amazing thing he's building, and we love Snaplet too. Peter, take it away.
Thanks, David. Hi, everyone. My name is Peter. I'm the founder of Snaplet. Snaplet is a product that allows you to code against your production database. I know that statement might raise your eyes, and you might be like, "What are you talking about? How do you do that?" I'm going to show you how. I'm sharing my screen right now. So this is Snaplet. That's our logo. This is Snappy, and I code against my production database. That is a controversial statement. I don't actually code against my production database, but I do think the data in my production database is the best data to code against. So I code against a branch of a sample of my production database. I'm going to show you a demo of what that looks like. So I'm going to open up my terminal here. Here's my code base. Got some code here. I'm going to run npx snaplet dev. It's going to boot up a proxy, a database proxy. And it spits out this URL. I point my local application to this URL. And what's actually happening here is it's connecting to a database in the cloud. This is a Neon database. that has a snapshot of my data in it. So I can go in here and change this. Let's just change that row there. I am now going to branch this database. So I'm going to kill the proxy and I'm going to say git checkout. I'm going to create a new branch, demo. I have a new branch here, this demo branch, and I'm going to run the snaplet dev command again. There we go. Now I have a new database for this particular branch. So if I open up this new connection, I just need to remember which row we changed here. Let's go here. Where was it? Oh, it actually reconnected. And you can see the row that I changed, which was this one, is now back to the original. So you can imagine a workflow where you're coding a feature or fixing a bug in a particular branch, and you want to switch back to production, or you want to switch back to main, or you want to switch to a different branch. You have a branch for every single database that you're coding against. This is a snapshot of my production data that was fetched a couple of minutes ago. I'm going to show you how we do that. I just want to show you that branching thing again. So I'm going to open up a new terminal here. So I'm going to say git checkout main. All right, it's switched. It's switched here in the proxy. And let's refresh this. Okay, let's just save that. All right, now I've changed that row. I'm going to check out that previous branch again. Back to demo. Let's refresh that. Okay, I don't know why this isn't working. Perfect demo. Did I connect to the right URL? I probably did not. All right, in the normal world, this works. In demo world, this didn't work. So just pretend that this row was actually 2. And if I switch, let's do that, it'll be 1. Use your imagination, please. I don't know why that's not working. I'm going to fix that. So how does this work? I'm going to switch back over here. So what's happening here is we're snapshotting your production database. Here's your production database. We create a sample of transformed data. So we do that via TypeScript, which is like a super idiomatic interface for you, for developers. So here in the data editor, I have this object and I can specify a schema. So I want to transform some data right now. Let's say we want to change the customers table. Let's just type that customers. We register a callback against that. And let's say I want to change some of the columns in that data, in that table. So contact name is a really good one. I can change it to a static value. But that isn't really great because then every single row in my database would have my name in it. And what I want is something that kind of looks like production data, but isn't. So I can use copycat.fullname. That's going to spit out a fake name. You might want to have that deterministic or like a static value. So copycat allows you to specify a value, an input value, and for any given input, it will always produce the exact same output. So here I'm getting the row. These are the original values, and I'm going to choose contact name. I'm going to save this configuration. I'm going to kick off a new snapshot. So whilst this downloads the snapshot, it's going to transform the values in memory and then create a CSV that are uploaded to Snaplet's cloud. And then you can restore that into your local development environment using this snaplet dev command that I showed you earlier. And that is Snaplet. You can help me by trying out the product, and giving me feedback on that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys coming on. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on and sharing. So that looks like a great product.
My bugs.
Yeah, demo time.
Part of it. That's part of it, right?
The demo timeline is different from the real life.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Good to see you.
Up next, we have Jamie and Jeremy from Majr. Looking forward to seeing what you guys have.
Hey, thanks, Amy. Can you hear us all right?
Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm Jamie, founder and CEO at Majr.
Hey, I'm Jeremy, CTO and co-founder at Majr.
So we're going to get to a demo pretty quickly of something that we call a song story. And what we've been up to essentially is figuring out ways to repackage and rebundle the data exhaust that comes off of the creative process. It's kind of the bigger idea is what we sometimes call continuous media, which is to say that we kind of increasingly live in a world where content is never done, and in fact kind of shared at the moment of inspiration. And this is actually a pretty radical shift. We were in a world where oftentimes you would never share the first shitty draft, and now you always do. Certainly if you're under 30, you're sharing in online spaces. So we don't think there's any really great tools or plumbing for that. That's what we're building towards. And we're going to give you a demo of what we've been building, in particular for music. And we think of music in some senses as a front runner for a lot of the changes that come to all media. So this is a live app that's in the Apple App Store, and you can check it out. So it's called Majr, M-A-J-R. And this is the fan experience. This is the consumer experience. What you're seeing right now is the most recent artist that launched on our platform, Bo Doran. And what I can do, it's a super modern UI, super snappy. I can just swipe, you get full bleed media. Artists love this because they control the content. There isn't any ads or promoted content in the way. Fans love it for the same reason. It's just super calm. Now let's say I'm a super fan of The Orphan the Poet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swipe down, and this brings me into their song story. And there's 4 core experiences to every story. Right now you're looking at listen. So I can hit play. I'm not going to risk a play fail because I'm not sure if audio is going to pipe through, but you're able to listen to the track. One of the things that we wanted to do though is bring in that data exhaust that oftentimes never gets seen. So I'm going to tap that branching icon. And for every story, what you get is the acoustic versions, the demo versions, the midnight piano recordings. If the artist has voice memos or production memos, we pull that in, and we never take you out of the song. We actually just duck the music and we bring up these clips. Now, there's oftentimes a bunch of ephemeral content, not just in the production process, but that comes out of social sharing. And when you talk to artists, they're on the content treadmill. There's no way to get that content once the algorithm deprioritizes it. Fans will tell you they want a richer catalog. So I'm going to swipe right. We call this gallery. This is the second core experience. And it should look, in some senses, familiar. What I can do is just swipe through this and get live performances, behind the scenes content. I can get the official music video. I can get the performance from last night. Some artists have gone in and updated this with performances while they're on the tour. And so it just becomes a way for the catalog to kind of ever be growing, and for the media itself to kind of like infinigrow with however it's coming to life. Now, for the artist, the most important part is the journey for how this comes to life. So I've swiped all the way to the right now, and we call this the song dial. All this is it takes the metadata, the timing of the content, and it maps it out. So I'm using my finger to swipe through time, and I can kind of get a very logical sense of how this particular song came to life all the way. Let's see, we'll go back to this part of the demo I didn't rehearse, so we'll see what happens. All the way down to the first writing session back in 2021. And then we'll move into the present and check out the last performance. Again, this gets dynamically updated. The last experience, the fourth, is called the lyric story. This is awesome because it is exclusive to Majr. You can't find this content anywhere else. And it's the most intimate part oftentimes for the artist. And it's the songwriting, how the verses and the chorus came to life. So if I tap on the play button, any one of these will bring me into kind of candid voice memos that either the artist has given us or we've worked with them to create. So I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy really quickly to show you how an artist would manage and update this content.
Thanks, Jamie. One sec. Let me figure out how to share my screen here. All right. Can you see that, Jamie? Oh, God. Can you guys see my screen?
Sure can.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm logged into artist at Major Data App as an artist, the orphan, the poet. And what we're looking at here is sort of the list of all of my songs on Major. I only have one. Feeling Good Could Be Better. So let's dive into that. And this is where I go to manage my content on my song story. And so we see we've got the stream here. This is like, you know, chronological order of like all of my posts. A lot of this should look familiar. It's we saw it earlier in the consumer app. And we've got this box here where we could pretty much drop anything, any kind of content we want, whether it's audio, video, images, or just a link to something. And we can tag it, label it. You know, this is the master track or a demo, etc. And it will get pushed up to the consumer iOS app. And yeah, all of this, this is Redwood. This is the website of our project, and the iOS app is powered by the GraphQL API. And I will stop sharing and turn it back over to Jamie.
Awesome, thanks. I should say Redwood was instrumental in accelerating the development of our MVP. We've gotten questions like, can stories apply to film or television? We've gotten asked by artists, can we kind of demarcate content we create versus what gets generated from an AI model? So lots of interesting things coming. Again, this is a live app. So in terms of our asks of you, definitely check it out. It's in the App Store. We love feedback, any and all feedback. So check it out. And we're also, of course, heading into arrays. And so if you or someone you know is aligned to this space, you know, definitely reach out. So with that, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Oh man, I love Major. I love what you guys are building, and I love having you part of this community. So thank you. Be sure to post some of those links in the chat for the community. So
thanks, David.
Such a pleasure. Well done, and what a great example of a mobile app that's running with Redwood on the API. So, boy, Jeremy, you're an animal. Keep it up. All right. Next up, one of my favorite parts about my role in this community is I get to find about amazing founders first. So you're about to meet another one of those that I just met within the last month and a half. So coming out of nowhere, one of the coolest new apps I've seen recently is Statapillar. You're going to meet Robin. Robin, welcome.
Hi, everybody. My name is Robin Tully. Unlike probably most of the people watching this, I am a data scientist by trade, and Python is my preferred programming language. Controversial statement here, but Redwood is great, and I chose it because having an opinionated framework has made it much easier to learn. And the last time I really did web development was back in the Rails days. So revisiting those patterns is really nice. The product I'm going to be showing you today is Statapillar, which is a friendly data analysis platform, the first step in accessible data science, or the 0th step if you're a developer. You upload your data, you pick what kind of business problem you're trying to solve, and we give you easy to understand results. So I'll be walking you through a demo of that. For this example, the thing we're going to be trying to predict is airline traffic. So we have monthly data about airline traffic that we've seen. So we upload the data in this kind of form in Statapillar. We see, oh, and the date is December 2nd, 1960. So we have, 112,000 passengers on 1949. This is just a data preview, but we have a full data set that we uploaded with this form. We have the data view page where we see that we did have 144 rows of this data. And now we're ready to train a model, which I think is the interesting part. So that is this form. All we have to do to specify a model to train, once again, I want Statapillar to be as accessible and easy to use as possible. So we fill out a pretty simple form. We pick which kind of model we are trying to solve and some of the basic necessities of picking that kind of model or specifying that kind of model. To do a very brief overview of the kinds of problems you can currently solve with Statapillar, you can solve A/B testing style problems. This can be your standard kind of conversion rate for web traffic. It can also be anything where you have just measured successes in a total number of trials and you want to know which is the likely group to be the most successful. So if you were doing some sort of, medical testing, and you had this patient group received the treatment and recovered versus this patient group. Time series, which is what we're going over today, which is I have a measured thing over an amount of time and I want to make future predictions about it. And linear modeling, which is essentially the most advanced, where you have a row of observations of data and you're trying to predict a specific column of that data set based off of the other rows. So a common example would be I have data about house prices and I want to predict the price of the house based off of the number of windows in the city and all of that. Statapillar can handle all of those kinds of problems really in any domain. The product itself is agnostic to the kind of data that you're uploading. So let's look at one of the results pages. Statapillar works by performing thousands of simulations of what the future might be and giving you kind of the most common simulation results. It's kind of inspired by 538's forecasts, if you ever saw those. I find that to be a very accessible way to relate results to people who are non-statistical, because instead of having to say, well, I have a R-squared score of 0.04 and that's statistically significant, I can just say, oh, in 80% of simulation results, we have between 1200 and 1400. And that means exactly what it sounds like, where I'm not going to get into this today, but there's a lot of debate about in statistics about what do any of these metrics that most people generally share actually mean. So this first chart is our historic data. We see that there's a peak airline traffic season in the midsummer. Then there's kind of a lull, a little early start of the year holiday bump. And we see that the data is kind of trending up generally over time. So this blue line is just the historic data that we have. If we zoom in here, we see the future predictions in these yellow, red, and green lines. So the yellow line is the standard prediction. One thing I would point out too is that even though the data we uploaded is just monthly, May 1st, 1960, June 1st, 1960, we can still make daily predictions about what the future might hold. So the yellow line are the averages. The green line is like kind of the upper, the optimistic situation. In the optimistic case, we think on December 2nd, 1960, we'll have 477,000 flights. And the red line is kind of the bottom threshold there, and that's adjustable through this slider here. Another thing I'll say is, let's say we wanted to look at December 25th. We had some use case where we particularly cared about that day. Maybe we wanted to make sure we were prepared for traffic on that day. So with our Data Explorer, we can just pick December 25th, and we're focused just looking at the results for that day. So we have 183 simulation results for December 25th that fall between 420 and 430,000 flights. We can narrow this in by saying, okay, well, I want a very narrow prediction. I want to say what's the most likely 20%. Let's just look at that kind of slim portion. So, well, 20% of our simulation results, the most likely 20% are between 422 and 432. Another use case we can do here is we can look at, let's say we wanted to look at, we had a plan for some downtime. We had to take some of the planes offline. So, and we wanted to do that over the New Year's weekend. So we can look at, December 31st through January 1st, seen here. And now we're looking at the total value of those 3 days combined. And we can say, well, we're most comfortable taking some of our planes into service if we're likely to have under 900 flights that day. So we can answer that question by saying 900 here. The lower value we're looking for is -0. And we can see, well, 20% of our simulations for the dates between the 31st and the 1st are under 900. And we can go to our boss and we can say, we're pretty, we were comfortable taking planes out of service if we were under 900,000 flights. Well, we're 18% likely to be in that use case. Maybe we should plan a different day to take some of these planes out of service. So that's the quick demo. I'm in the MVP phase. If you would like to use this product and provide some feedback, either in self-service or you want to get on a call, and I'm happy to walk you through it. The website is statapillar.com, and I can be reached at robin@statapillar.com, ROBIN STATAPILLAR. Thanks to all the people watching this, thanks to the hosts, and thanks to the Redwood team.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robin. Really appreciate that. I love seeing those graphs and how it's able to make all those kinds of predictions. Next up, we have Lee from Nous. Welcome.
Hey, nice to meet everyone. I'm Lee, one of the senior engineers here at Nous. So we're a consumer-facing app built around household finances and designed to help households basically keep on top of their bills and save money. We're not a price comparison website, which usually requires a lot of users' attention to compare the packages, and the websites usually rely on the money from those providers of those packages, so they're quite biased. We're a full household management suite, so basically the idea is you sign up and we take care of finding the best packages and switching everything for you. We started with Django and React, but we moved to Redwood mainly for two reasons: to reduce the cognitive complexity between like switching languages constantly, and also we were finding it quite hard to hire full stack engineers that wanted to work in Python and TypeScript. So yeah, we started about 2 years ago. We spent a lot of that time experimenting to try and get to product market fit, and now we're in beta. So we had two main ways into our app. One's through our B2B offering, and but I'm going to give you guys just a quick speed run of our standard B2C flow. So I'm just going to pop in my postcode. A live demo, so hopefully nothing goes crazy wrong. Right, so now we're basically into what we call the like guest mode of our app. So the idea is to allow the users sort of time to explore, show the value proposition, but with a lack of full functionality. So you can go through, you can add your broadband provider, Virgin Media, for example. We can add your contract end dates. So mine's going to end next month. You can, I'm not going to do it because I haven't got time for the demo, but you can connect a bank account here, or at least you can if you have a full account, add some spend money. So now you can see that you've got broadband here. You can go through, we give you sort of some information about some advice, what you can do. There's parts of the app that are obviously blocked until you have a full account. So for example, savings, we're going to sort of ask you to create a full account, mostly because there's a lot of sort of security involved and a lot of P2 information that we need to be able to do switches on behalf of you. We have lots of tools that are free. So this is actually internal as part of the app, but we have a lot of these tools external, and we work a lot with a lot of like UK newspapers to sort of try and help people as much as possible. This is one that we pushed out relatively recently, just a few days ago. So we can put a few example numbers in here, and we can see that hopefully my energy is going to be £36 cheaper come next month. So if I quickly just sign up for a full account. Okay, so now we're into what would be like the full functionality. So you've signed up with a full account. Just got a quick little demo of the value proposition. So from here, we can actually start saving energy. So, well, put my number in right, that would help. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to go through all of these bits. It's a bit boring, but the idea is that now you're signed up for energy switching. We're going to handle everything for you. If there's any information that we need from you, we'll reach out. But the idea is basically that this all sort of happens in the background. We've stuck with Redwood for the vast majority of stuff and followed their patterns fairly rigidly. The only sort of interesting bits that we've done outside of that is that we're currently in the process of moving over to Relay. So the app that you're currently seeing is sort of running half Apollo, half Relay, probably about 60-40 currently. And as you can probably imagine, running someone's household sort of requires a lot of asynchronous tasks. So we have, I don't know if this will work if I move. Okay, yeah, it does. So we can see here that in the last sort of like 15 minutes, we're using temporal as like our like background like workflow engine. So we can see here that like my free trial workflow has started running. We can see here that what else is there? Some send welcome emails, my update water, some energy bits and pieces that have happened in the background. If I'd actually signed up properly for energy switching, it would also be there as well. But yeah, that's basically our app. I don't think there's anything we need specifically from the Redwood community. But if you're in the UK and specifically in London, then like hit us up, because we'd love to sort of hang out with some more Redwood startup people. Yeah, that's me.
Lee, well done. Thank you so much. I want more of Lee and Nous in our community. We love what you're building. We love Relay as well. And there's some really successful examples of Redwood applications that are using Relay. So we'd love to connect some dots on that. Nous is great. There is rumors of a RedwoodJS meetup in London that'll be happening this summer in July. So check out our community forums for more information about that. Next up, InfinityKeys from Andy, one of my favorite PhDs. Andy, take it away.
Thanks. Awesome to be here. We love the Redwood community. Thanks for having us. I'm here to talk about InfinityKeys. Really, InfinityKeys is about interconnected experiences. So there's this thing that's happened over the past 10, 15 years that people love. People love the MCU, not necessarily because it's superheroes, but because the stuff that happens in one movie matters in another movie. People are having debates about what fanfic belongs in the canon, because there's these interconnected sort of worlds made by a variety of creators. And we see that happening more and more. People want the stuff they do in the real world, the steps they take, for example, to impact their character in the game. And we keep seeing this demand. And so that's really what InfinityKeys is a platform to make these interconnected experiences. We are live. We're in alpha, but we're live. You can go to InfinityKeys.io and see some of our puzzles right now. I'll walk you through some of our ideas and how we came to do this and what we're doing. And then I'll show you a quick demo of the puzzles themselves. So we call InfinityKeys a connected ARG platform, alternate reality gaming. We can think of these sort of like mysteries or puzzles or games that you play in the real world or in metaverse spaces or in digital spaces in general. But we connect them. So you can have one sort of gaming experience and connect it to another. That means if I build a game, my own little puzzle game, you can make my game a requirement for your game. Or we could say, okay, you've got to go do some things on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter as part of the game. Or you've got to go collect some digital items and make that a part of your game or any other games. So that's the idea, is we build all these games and we let creators build these games that we can then link together and make these more cohesive, crazy experiences, really is the goal. So creator tools to build puzzle games across digital or IRL game spaces. Think Roblox. It's a platform. It's a game engine where you can build stuff, but instead of in a single platform, we want to cross and connect those platforms, whatever it may be. And the idea is to capture those network effects using composable tech. That's why we're using NFTs in Web3, is that composability, some of that permissionlessness, and then also to capture social memetics. What we've built using Redwood, kind of the game engine, is the InfinityKeys platform. Are these four sorts of things? So we've got gates. A gate is an objective, something you've got to accomplish in order to progress to the next objective, the next task. We've also got logic. We order those gates so you can have progression like a proper game. There's a place for content. So it's not just a list of digital chores, but rather there's story, there's narrative, there's a place for video, there's a place for images, audio, 3D worlds, who knows what we integrate in the future. And then at the end, there's a rewardable. So after you've accomplished your series of gates, there's some sort of reward. A rewardable is really just a container where you can put anything. You can make anything a reward. Maybe it's access to another puzzle, or the ability to mint an NFT, or some special information, or just a thumbs up. Who knows? It can be whatever the creator wants it to be. So let me take you over to the actual demo itself. This is live, so you can go to InfinityKeys and see this. I'm going to point out a couple of interesting things. So here's all our puzzles. Down here is what you see on InfinityKeys. We've got this secret society, branding, because it's fun to do mysteries and stuff like that. First, notably, our sign-in is powered by Keyp, which is another Redwood project. So we're live. You can sign in using Discord or Google through Keyp. And what's cool about that is it actually gives you a Web3 wallet address. And so you don't need a private key. You don't need MetaMask and doing all this stuff. You can still interact at your level once you're ready with Web3 and our puzzles. So anyways, that's live now. Feel free to sign in and check us out. I suggest you start on Novice and Greenhorn as kind of our intro level puzzles. But one thing I'm going to show you, so you can see on Novice, I've completed it. I got a little check mark. I've got some progress markers on the 3 steps. Let's go over to this Cometh Cadets because I want to show you an example of some of the gates. So I'm going to go back to step 1 for this one. We've got some narrative. We've got a link out to Cometh. They're a partner. So we partner with these projects to help them do onboarding and engagement for communities. We've got some imagery here. And then I'll just spoiler alert for this one. When you go and you kind of do a little bit of research on the question, there's a passcode. So this is our first gate. It's a passcode gate. You have to learn the passcode and submit it. It passes me on to step 2. Step 2 is another gate. It's very similar. You go to their website, you learn some things, you engage in their lore. And I'm going to do these ones right off the bat so that we get to the third, which is interesting to me to show you, which is step 3. Step 3, you actually have to go and play their tutorial. And you have to connect your profile on Cometh to prove that you've completed the tutorial, you've gone through the thing, that you have completed the mission. And so I can go down here and I can actually check on this account. I haven't completed the tutorial. It doesn't let me pass. So I actually have to go there. I have to complete the tutorial to come in and be able to finish this mission. All right, let me just show you a couple things real quick. So you can see, right, we've got, Pizza Friends, we've got Texture, Mission 1, 2, and 3. There's some partners that we've done, and a variety of these other games. Some of them are just games that we make. Most of them are games that we just make for fun. And you can do a lot of different things with this. I'm going to show you an example of the rewardable page. So Novice I've completed, and now I've completed all 3 steps. I have the ability to claim. And so what it does, because I have my wallet connected, I can check my keys, and I have not claimed, therefore I'm allowed to claim. So now I can get this treasure, and it pops open. I don't think you guys can see this, but it pops open my Web3 wallet here, and I can interact with it and mint. Some exciting stuff that's coming in the future, hopefully near future, is gasless minting, so that when you engage and want to claim one of these trophies as an achievement, you don't have to deal with paying the gas. You don't have to deal with that. We just abstract that away and pay it for you. So it's just a simplified user experience, yet you're getting the benefits of having these NFTs and assets. They're really just game items and collectibles. Some other things are on the way. As well, we're constantly building and improving this UX. Like I said, this is the alpha version, but we've got beta version coming in the future as well that we're onto. So please check out the site. We've got a bunch of stuff on the roadmap, a self-service portal where people can come and make them themselves, a variety of AI-generated content tools so that you can build those images and videos and stories yourself to put those out. We are... I'm not going to go through the whole team, but I do have a totally killer team that is in the chats and the YouTubes and the Discords. Shout out to Tawny and Bloom and Corey, and Chair is Aaron right here, and Rick and the rest of the gang here who all do a variety of roles as advisors and mentors. We are starting a raise as well, a small round. So if you're interested in that or know people who are interested, please send them my way. I'm Andy at InfinityKeys, and you can find me just about anywhere on the internet. We love building with the Redwood and the community. Thank you so much for having us. If you've got questions, shout us out, come by, play some games. There's treasure everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andy. That looks fantastic. And as you can probably tell, Redwood absolutely loves startups, and not just from a building perspective, but a funding perspective as well. So DT is joining us today with an update about the RedwoodJS Startup Fund.
Okay. Hey everyone. Let's see if I can present my screen here. Sorry, one moment. There. Here we go. So let's get an update on the Redwood Startup Fund. What is the fund? The Redwood Startup Fund is part of Tom's angel investing at Preston Warner Ventures. It's a $1 million fund that invests between 25,000 and 50,000 startups that use RedwoodJS as a primary component in their stack. Additionally, the goals of the fund are to help startups explore more territory and deliver on their ideas quickly, to increase the diversity of founders within the Redwood community, and also to encourage climate-focused software. So since launching last year, the Redwood Startup Fund portfolio has added over 10 companies from Australia, Canada, Colombia, United Kingdom, as well as the United States. Some of the companies you will see today during the showcase, and others you can get an overview on if you go visit the RedwoodStartupFund.com site, where you can see and visit some of the companies within the portfolio. If you think you're a good fit, there's an application form here, and you can just apply at the website by sending an application, and the team will review it. And we're really excited to see what you'll be building and hope we can help you on your startup journey. That's it.
Thanks, DT. We're really excited about the Redwood Startup Fund. It's been a wonderful opportunity to support startups, as DT said, and there's more to come. If you just learned about the Redwood Startup Fund today and you're interested in applying, please don't hesitate. We'd love to meet you and learn what you're building. Next up, speaking of startups that were on that list, we have Leftlane, Michael, and Khalid. Always a pleasure. Nice shirt. I'll let you take it from here.
Thanks, David. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Mantel, CTO at Leftlane, former tech lead at Meta. I'm here with my co-founder, Khalid.
I'm Khalid. I'm the CEO and co-founder. I was at a company called Service Channel before that was in the software for small businesses space.
So today, what we're going to be showing is we're building a B2B SaaS app for running your independent used car dealership. And we specifically focus on this segment of the market that is really a lender masquerading as a dealer. And the reason we're doing this is they're using antiquated software from 1991. It's really inefficient. We think we can make these lenders who have to collect on these loans after they sell the car 20% more efficient, which is basically a free, your fifth agent is free. And so there's some basic problems. Customers can't view their balances, or they're printing out lists for their collections agents to do work, some basic stuff. We won't get into that too much today, but a quick overview of where we're at. We were founded in 2023 Q1. We just raised our seed round in Q1 of this year. We have 20K live ARR, 300K bookings that we're looking to close and convert to live this year. We're pre-growth and expect to be transitioning into a growth mode later this year. And with that, I'll let Khalid get into a little product demo going through,
Should just be that window, right?
This one, yeah, okay. Going through from adding a vehicle to selling a car.
Yeah, what we're proud of right now is the ability to help a dealer with everything from adding a vehicle to processing all the paperwork that goes through it, which we'll quickly go through here. So the first step is adding a vehicle and having that vehicle identification number decoded, which gives information about the vehicle. Let's say we bought this one for $10,000. That car now shows up here. I'm going to show you a different car with more detail on it. This is what our vehicle details page looks like. Their comments for collaboration, all the information on the vehicle here, the book value of the vehicle, depending on the condition it's in, different leads and deals on the car, and then the expenses. So this one has about $12,000 of cost in it. And then we also help dealers market their vehicles. So they use Leftlane on their phone to take pictures of these cars. They write up a description. This pushes to their website and third-party marketing websites that you may have used, like Car Gurus and Auto Trader. So quickly, if we sell a car to David here, this is the first step, which is coming to terms about how much that vehicle is worth. So this includes a trade-in, the different taxes and fees, which we handle for the dealer to keep them in compliance. We're in Texas and Florida right now. Any service contracts or warranties they might add to get to a price of $10,800. And if the customer wants to negotiate and say, hey, I want $10,700, then we compute the inputs that need to get there with the taxes and fees. The next part is actually financing this vehicle. About 90% of used cars in the US are financed. So a critical part is coming to terms on the financing. So if a customer says, hey, I want to pay 175 per month, what would that make my down payment? The dealer can say, well, then you're going to need to pay $2,300, almost $2,400 down. And that's assuming a 10% interest rate. Or if the customer says that loan's a bit too long for me, I want to take it to 48 months. Then the dealer says, okay, you need to put $3,700 down. Is it acceptable? Once they come to terms, the dealer will check their profit and loss over here, and then they'll actually go ahead and print that paperwork. Unfortunately, it's an antiquated industry. We're blocked a little bit on changing that. They still have to print and download these forms and have the customer sign them. It averages about 10 forms per deal, but I'll quickly show you just one of them, which is called the buyer's order. And that's a contract between the customer and the dealer, itemizing out all these charges so it's fully transparent to the customer what they're paying for, what the different fees and taxes are. And that is from adding the car to selling it. What we're working on next is once they've sold the car, actually collecting money on that vehicle once they've financed the purchase of that car.
Cool. So that's it for our demo. I did have a few quick asks to the community if y'all are open to it. We're always looking for dealerships. If you know folks looking to upgrade and modernize their software, you got an uncle or a friend or whatever, send them our way. I'll share some contact information after this. And then, we love the Redwood community. Being on Redwood let us ship to our first user in 3 months after we, started development last year in April. So that was huge. We wouldn't have gotten there without Redwood. So always keeping an eye out for growing the team, building a stellar engineering organization. Feel free to reach out, and ping me with any questions about Leftlane if you're interested. Thanks. Thank you for the time. I'll hand it back to David.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Leftlane, for participating. The product looks stellar. So I just want to remind everybody that we're probably about halfway through with our demos. So we have plenty of great stuff still to come. And then at the very end, we will have 2 major announcements. So definitely stay tuned. Up next, we have today, and this is a video recording that I believe should be queued up for.
I'm Thomas. I've been working with RedwoodJS since March 2020. I have built prototypes, founded a startup, and today I am freelancing. What I am about to show you is a product I've been working on for the past 5 weeks. I chose RedwoodJS because it made me a better and faster developer over time. Sadly, I cannot be with you today, so I'm sending AI minions to do this presentation.
The product is called Today and researches a different way to organize your day, build habits, and reach goals. We implement our version of the productivity hack known as time boxing, along with some journaling techniques with a taste for flexibility.
Our users are students, developers, founders, parents, people who have plenty on their plate and need to keep track of things. All of them have stressful goals and hectic daily lives. Interruption is their bread and butter, and the struggle to foster good habits is the problem we want to solve.
Now at the heart of Today, there is planning. The application will propose a set of tasks you can review and modify as you see fit to match your focus and energy level. You get to know upfront the allocated time, and we even take into account the needed rest time.
Once you are satisfied, accept your day and dive in.
Here is the keystone of our flow. A review is expected at the end of the day. Clearing your tasks is cute, but we want you to question your plans so you can get some perspective.
What worked? What failed? Where do you need to pick up next? We let you use audio notes to preserve the spontaneity of your input.
The full process lets you keep track and improve your productivity. At the end of the day, you will give yourself the instructions for where to pick up tomorrow.
To keep things smooth, we're using 2 different kinds of input for your tasks. There is the regular task and there is the drop.
The regular task requires a label, a duration you accept to complete your task, an evaluation of how you feel about the task, and a flag for criticality. While creating a task, you can check a box to keep it going and make sure you can rapidly create other tasks.
Sometimes, however, you will just want to drop a note as a draft for future tasks. Use the button or the key map to open the drop modal and record an audio note. You don't need anything else now. But to be able to plan a drop, you will need to edit the other settings. Most importantly, the duration.
This is a short presentation of what we've built in a month. We also shipped paid plans and emails and are paving the way for AI support and team features while improving what we have already. RedwoodJS is at the core of our project. Our setup comprises Chakra UI, i18n and dbauth. We are hosted on Versal and AWS. We use S3, Route 53, Stripe, Mailjet and Recoil. We are in closed beta. If the project is of interest, please let us know by signing up on the waitlist on today.th90.net or by sending us an email at contact@th90.net.
But most importantly, we want to hear about your day. What worked? What didn't work? How can we help you to a better tomorrow?
All right. I hope you've seen that one of the themes is how quickly people have gone from initial start to having an MVP ready. And that was a 1-month project. Thomas has been a part of the community for many years now. So it's a pleasure to see what he's building. We're really excited about it. And then also what I love about these demos is we are going across all different types of applications and all different types of clients. So coming up next is Antoine showing us Config. We just saw something that was very, first-person consumer, small business facing. Antoine, you're building something entirely different with Redwood that I love. I'm going to let you take it over from here.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, David. So I can share my screen. Sorry, a little new UI. So hi, everyone. My name is Antoine, and I'm a co-founder of Config. Config allows companies whose main product is an API to offer a seamless customer onboarding experience. And we do this by providing a developer tool that auto-generates SDKs that any developer can use to quickly and easily integrate with our customer's API. So our product is already live with 7 customers, dozens of SDKs, and thousands of downloads. So for this demo, we will create SDKs for a pet store API. And just as a quick aside, our tool automatically generates SDKs whenever you update your open API spec. So you're not actually expected to use this tool, but just for this demo, we'll just explain how it works under the hood. So the first thing we want to do is pull up our terminal and download the open API spec, which, as you guys probably know, is a standard form that's used to describe the API. And we want to download that into our repo. So we'll run this command here. And it's now in. So the next thing we're going to want to do is to lint the open API spec. Often open API specs are not really well written or follow best practices. And this could be okay for documentation purposes, but for SDKs, and especially for code-generated SDKs, the open API spec has to be perfect. And so we want to be able to find and fix any errors in the open API spec to ensure that your SDK is of high quality. So we're going to basically run the lint command. And as you can see here, there's 8 errors and 25 warnings. You don't have to read all the errors, but basically what they are there's 2 main types of errors. The first are poorly named operator IDs, which will create unwieldy method names that nobody is going to want to use to call your API. So that's obviously not good. And the second is a type error. So let's really quickly fix that, also using config. Just run this command here. And everything is now fixed. And you can see that when you run the linter again, there's basically only one error, which is basically the URL is invalid because it's not a real open API spec, but you can see all the other errors have gone away and we've correctly fixed it all. The next thing we're going to want to do is generate our SDKs. You can select beforehand which languages you want for each API, but in this particular case, I've already pre-selected just generating a TypeScript SDK. So all you literally have to do is hit config generate. And now we're going to be generating our SDKs. And it's done. If you look at the README, you can see here that we've generated the SDK. And with documentation along with it, you can see how the SDK can be used. Here's an example of adding a pet store. adding a pet to the pet store. You can see all the method and the method names and description of them. You can, so if you want to, for example, update a pet with form, you can just quickly click here and you can see basically what you're supposed to be doing to be able to do that. And it's all nice and documented. Just as a quick example of what it actually looks like live in production, you can see here's an example of one of our customer Snaptrade's SDKs. You can see that we've generated basically like 6 SDKs for them, or 7 SDKs for them in all the different languages. And the last thing that we actually do is after we generate the SDKs, we automatically publish the SDKs to the appropriate package manager. So in this case, for example, Python gets published to PyPy, and you can see here that it's here just for any of your customers to download it if they're interested. So yep, that's our demo. Thanks a lot for watching it. If you're interested in using our product or learning more about us, you can check out our website, which is here at www.configthis.com. And if you fill in the intake form, we'll be in touch and we can help you generate SDKs to make it really easy for any of your customers to onboard onto any API that you have. And we're also currently fundraising right now and we're looking for investors. So if you're interested in funding us, you can also please reach out to us at founders@configthis.com as well. And once again, we'll be in touch. Yeah, that's it for us. Thanks a lot for the Redwood team. And yeah, have a good day, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. That looks fantastic. Next up, we have Keyp. And I'm even more excited about this one because we just had a demo that featured Keyp inside itself. So a little bit of inception, but looking forward to seeing, Joseph, what you've been up to.
Keyp Cursion, right? Thank you so much for the intro, Amy, and having us on today. I'm Joseph Shirizzi. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Keyp. We're an onboarding tool for Web3. To make the user experience clean, safer, and more simple. I'm going to present. I don't know if that is going. Oh, okay. I only have to do it by tab. All right. I'm just going to do my whole screen. Why not? Great. So like I said, powerful Web3 onboarding. We make the user experience cleaner by adding social logins to your Web3 and crypto apps, so people can log in with their existing Gmail, Discord, Twitter, and many other social accounts that they're already familiar with, and be given a non-custodial Ethereum address that they actually control, that they can use, and normal people can safely figure out. We also help developers pay gas fees on the user's behalf by default, and other things that make the experience better and more secure for normal people. We use Redwood for our front end and our back end, just everything, and have been for years because we love it so much. Building with Keyp is so easy and saves developers so much time that we actually use Keyp to build our developer portal and dashboard. So I'm gonna do a quick demo of that. Show some open source work that we've done, and then show what an integration with Keyp looks like for developers who want really clean onboarding for their Web3 games and apps. So if you're interested in that, you can create a dev account very easily. We have Discord, Gmail, Twitter, chess.com, Twitch, and you can use any of these accounts to create a new Ethereum wallet, to create a new address, and access a lot of really cool things. So I'm just going to use Google here, and that is going to bring me right to my profile. So boom, that's it. That's the user experience of, instead of people having to figure out MetaMask or wallets or anything else, they can just use a simple OAuth login that they're already familiar with and give permission to Keyp to see your email, or whoever app you're logging into. And now I have an Ethereum address that I can access. So the developer portal built with Keyp because it saves us so much time. So we actually try to dog food as much as possible. So in our quest to replace wallets, or rather the wallet experience for users with an OAuth experience, we also created the first ever Redwood server for OAuth. So if you want to host an OAuth app, you can use this. It's open source, And we also have contributed to Redwood over the last several years in a few other ways. But this one was something that I thought was really cool, and I'm pretty proud of that we published this. Just as one other example of using the Keyp social logins, this is InfinityKeys, who presented like 30 minutes ago, I think, and is also built with Redwood, which is really cool. So normally for most Web3 apps or NFT things or related, you have to have your users figure out self-custodial wallets, and that can be really annoying. It can be less secure if people don't know how to do private key management securely. And instead of having to do that, since InfinityKeys integrated with us, they now have login with Discord or login with Google, and can really simply just grab this, go to Keyp, give access to your email address, give read access to your wallet address, and forward the user back into your page. And because I used Keyp instead of some other social login tools for Web3, my public address for this wallet that was created is the same as the one in the dev portal, because I signed in with my Gmail account in both places. So the user in the future will be able to see all of their items between every game, every app that they've logged in, that they've connected with. And now I can start doing puzzles on InfinityKeys and earning cool rewards over here. So yeah, that's kind of my demo for today. We have other tools and APIs that we offer to make things really fast and make building Web3 apps faster, easier, and just save developers a lot of time. My ask for the Redwood community today is, if you are a senior developer, a senior backend developer, if you've been working with Redwood for a while, or you're new to it and interested in learning how it works more, we're hiring one senior backend dev right now to really help us make crypto, make Web3 safe, less spammy, and more secure and more consistent experience for normal people to be able to have the actual benefits of it. So that's Keyp, and thank you so much.
Joseph, I can't say enough about you and Patrick and your contributions to the Redwood community. I feel like, so another reason I like to do these events is I just get to hang out with people that I've enjoyed being with for the past few years. So thank you. I love, not only have you contributed back, but I love that you're hiring from the Redwood community. And,
yes.
That's just kind of, that's what the community is meaning now, right? And what it looks like to help others be successful with Redwood. So thank you so much. It's really a pleasure. And Keyp is pretty rad. Keyp is rad. Up next is Shri from Diagon. Shri, I think Diagonal, when I say Diagon, let me know if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Another new startup I've just gotten to know recently. I look forward to seeing your demo on Diagon. Thanks for joining us.
All right, excited to be here. Diagon is actually derived from Diagon Alley from Harry Potter. It'll make more sense like once I explain it. So I'm Sridharan Muthu, CTO of Diagon Technologies. Diagon is a digital marketplace which will help you buy industrial equipments like robotic arms, end-of-the arm tools, CNC machines, and 3D printers. We are a pre-seed company. Pre-product market fit, we've been building our MVP for about 3 to 4 weeks full time now. Before I get started, I do want to give a little bit of a story, because Diagon is purely in manufacturing and automation space. So it started in Jan 2023. I joined in Feb as a technical co-founder. When I joined, I wasn't sure, like manufacturing and automation is kind of like something I would be excited about. So I bravely and foolishly took on this challenge to buy a robotic arm myself. And I was like, okay, how do I buy this? And, like majority of the people, I went to ChatGPT. It's like, okay, I'm looking for Delta robot with 3 kilograms of payload. And how do I buy these? Why kilograms? I'm going to set the topic aside for a different day. And I came up with a list of things to do, start with like some of the big manufacturers. Go to FANUC website, find a robot that can fit into this specification. And once you get a robot, you're like, okay, what do I do with this? It's like request for a code. You don't see pricing at all. It'll take a few days or weeks, and you need to meet with them to get like pricing. But wait a minute, so what are my other options? So you're going to need to start over again with a different manufacturer, in this case, ABB or KUKA. I got very frustrated with the time-consuming process. I was looking at like what other startups are in this space. Like, how do I discover like new robotic companies that are making these robots? And that kind of like summarizes my pain. And I got like more involved, and I got like conviction to build this in the right thing. Challenges, again, incredibly hard to approach right now, highly fragmented, very time-consuming, and everything seems offline. You have to do invoicing and ACH transfers. And majority of the time, it's going to leave you frustrated. How it is solved right now, you need to have a CapEx team or a supply chain team who can take care of all these complexities. So with that said, I'm going to jump into demo pretty quickly. And this has been built in 3 to 4 weeks. Quick disclaimer, the data you see here is not real. And also a few things are hard-coded right now, like what you see, the lowest price, fastest shipping, and all that is just hard-coded. So let me take the same example that I had before, and I'm going to look for a specific manufacturer. KUKA is a manufacturer. I'm looking for a Delta robot with a payload of 3 kilograms. You could do this in search, or you could do this in filters. And this is powered by Algolia, and I'll talk about like tech stack in a bit. And obviously you could see 2 things, pretty pricey, 24, 26 grand, and they are available in September. I want to explore other manufacturers. I'm going to get rid of KUKA, and you'd see like FANUC and ABB. The catalog is not complete. Of course, there's going to be a lot more manufacturers who's going to be part of this. And one of the neat things I could explain is I could find ABB that's a lot cheaper than what I had in mind as KUKA, and it ships a month earlier. So this seems good to me. I'm going to add it to cart, and I'm going to go to cart. And looks like I have something I don't need. I'm going to proceed to check out. And here we have 3 integrations. Credit card might not make sense for this big of an amount, but just for the demo purposes, we have these. Majority of the time, this is going to be an ACH transfer, and we're in test mode. Plus, I don't want to be sharing any real information. For security's sake, this is a better demo. I'm going to pay, and that is a successful order creation. As you can see, with the challenges we are facing and how easy it is to transfer this into a marketplace, very quickly from the price point, from the lead time, everything is immediate and readily available. Personally, I haven't been coding for about like 7-8 years on the management director VP side. I didn't spend like too much time in creating a setup. So when it comes to RedwoodJS community, a lot of the things are already set up, like the packages, scaffolding. So I leverage pretty much everything from RedwoodJS community except for Algolia. So our tech stack is RedwoodJS, TypeScript, Tailwind, Algolia Postgres. We're using Render right now and Clerk for authentication. And we're also exploring like flight control and coherence for hosting on the side. That's pretty much it. We are actually hiring for a founding engineer and an AI expert. If you are interested, let us know. I'll share some information in the chat. Thank you again. Glad to be here. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And I absolutely love the shout out to Harry Potter. That's fantastic. Up next, we have Datasketch. So JP and David will be joining us.
Maybe.
Hello.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
there's
here.
JP. That is him.
How are you?
I've hung out with JP before, and that is JP. JP, over to you.
All right. How are you? Let me share my screen. I'm JP. I'm the founder of Datasketch. I'm here with David, CTO. Are you watching my screen now? Yes. Okay. All right, so I'm a data scientist myself. We've seen that there are not enough data scientists, and at the end of the day, we have a lot of small data that we need to process. So David and I, we have been working on democratizing data science. That means democratizing data itself. With Datasketch, users can have their own profile and upload and share different data sets, charts, and maps. We have custom branding options and even a recommendation engine for data visualizations. And so if you want, you can follow us on Twitter and maybe can help us getting some feedback on our tools. So demo time, this is Redwood page. I was curious about these startups. And so as I do often, I started building a spreadsheet, which you can see here. Here are some of the companies that are using Redwood. Let me just download this. And go to Datasketch. You can go here, create an account, get your user. And I created the user for RedwoodJS, datasketch.co. You see the organization doesn't have any data sets or visualization, so let's fix that. I go into Redwood's profile. I go into databases, create. And then these are RedwoodJS startups. This is the file I just downloaded. And let's create a database. It's creating the tables, database ready. And here you see the data that I just uploaded. I can just go here, and we recently added the option for including images. So let me just add our logo here. Right, there is. Let's save some changes. And now I want to share this database. I can share it as a table, or let's share it as a list. I can get to choose which columns I want to share. Let's say the company and the country. Copy the clipboard. Let's go to CodePen and paste this right here. And then I see the database that I just uploaded with different widgets that you can use to embed in your own web page. If we go back to the databases, we see that we have startups, but we also have an API for data scientists like me that can load our own library. Then if I go here, I can see which databases I have uploaded under the RedwoodJS organization. I can read this database, and you see I get the data. Let me just go to GitHub's API. And we just got the top contributors for RedwoodJS. And I just go here and upload a database. And we go back to our list of startups. Then now we see the list of databases. Now we see the contributors. If I go back here, now I have the list of contributors to RedwoodJS right in my profile that I can, maybe I shouldn't edit this. So let's just restrict edits from this database. And now that I have this data here, I can just go back and maybe do some, some charts. So if you go to Datasketch, you have a marketplace, and then you have different apps that you can use. If we go to the simple charts app, now I have data visualization tools that you can use. I just paste the data from the spreadsheet. I just select the variables that I want to visualize, and then I automatically get charts that work with the data that I just uploaded with different options. Let's just color by country, adjust the color palette, some titles. And now I can download it, export it, or save it to my library. And yeah, this is it. I hope you guys like it and follow us and help us improving Datasketch.
Thank you, JP and David. I love it. It reminds me of a Tableau that I used to use but couldn't afford anymore because it was too expensive. And even more importantly, to tell people, because we've had people say like, hey, I've gotten here in 1 month or 3 months, but Datasketch is a migration story over to Redwood. So you've been building a product in a company for years. You've migrated over to Redwood and done that incrementally. And my word, that's a fully featured application. And I highly recommend people, if you need to work with data of any kind, the workflow that JP showed you is really that simple. So I recommend people check it out. So thank you both. We are excited to continue here. We're almost, we're definitely over halfway here. Remember, we have 2 big announcements we're really excited about coming here at the end. And all this ties together because I love getting to introduce all these startups that we know intimately well and see what they're building to the greater community. And I hope you're inspired about all the different types of things that people are building and all the people around the world that are building with Redwood. I love it. It's amazing. All right. Up next is Jose and Carl from InkWorks. I've gotten to spend some time with both of these gentlemen, and yet another amazing example of what you can do with Redwood that who knew what you could do. All right. I'm out. Over to you two.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Carl, CEO of InkWorks. Jose, our co-founder, or CTO, co-founder.
Hi. Well, today we'd like to introduce InkWorks. It's a revolutionary platform for commercial print shops. They have a challenge. The print shops do all these unique items made of different materials on different sizes, on different designs, custom to each of their customers. And their challenge is pricing is hard. It's how do you, even knowing the cost of how much it takes to do it is very hard. And this is where InkWorks comes with a solution for them. We created a quote builder that generates pricing that actually convert that quote into production orders and job tickets, and a very cool widget for your mail that actually plugs into your email inbox and gets some data from it. Let's go to show it actually how it works. So this is InkWorks. We have a list of quotes. I have one example of this company that went through rebranding, and they are requesting some new office signs. They had a few different sizes made of acrylic. So here the printer can go and create some of these sizes. It will calculate how much of this material they need and what will be the cost. But it also it's plugging into the printer, the actual printer, and calculating how much ink, how long it will take, how much to charge for the setup, and how much to charge for the actual labor that will take to install those signs. Even some one-off things like we have to put braille on those signs. What we call the freestyle item, right? This is done by the printer. It's a kind of a combination of their different materials they use. They put the printers they have on the workshop and all the different labor they can add into it, and it comes with a price. In another example, let's say with that same rebranding, they're also creating some booklets for the employee handbook, and they use some paper for the body of the handbook, some paper, different paper for the cover, different printer. It's also calculating how much ink, how much is the black and white, how much is in color, how much is again the setup fees, how long it takes. And we're adding the saddle stitch to create those booklets, right? One critical thing also for the printers is sometimes the early bird with the worm. It's very critical to send the quote the first. Many times they win the contract. So in real time, we are calculating and creating this quote document that could be exported to PDF, that could be sent back through email with all the pricing is focusing on the price data and not all the internal details. Once the customer approves this quote, it's converted to order. We want it. And what we get is an order with a lot more focusing on the production details. So your team in the workshop can create those products. The same way it's creating a job ticket, again, not focusing so much on the pricing, but with all the production details. So the printers don't have to be copy pasting data from different systems or missing details or part of the information when creating that order, right? About copy pasting, one thing we also acknowledge is a lot of these requests come via email. So we created this sidebar for the inbox that is connecting to InkWorks and even being able to launch the quote process when receiving an email. And this will transfer a lot of this information you receive in the email to InkWorks, and you already know who's the customer, who's the contact, and even creating some of these linking to the email. We are in the middle of our fundraising process for our seed round. We want to accelerate some new features coming, payments, invoice and accounting, all these fintech services we want to offer to print shops, loans, payroll, marketplace. This part really, Redwood was really help and a game changer for us. We migrated to Redwood once it was in version 1, and it really speed up the development. So we're really thankful to the Redwood team for creating the framework and organizing these events. Please, we are here at Apps with any question, suggestion. If you know any print shop that might benefit, that's all for InkWorks. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. That looks like a fantastic product, and I love that sidebar. Even working with email, that's pretty slick.
Thanks.
Excellent. Well, next up we have Bill from Constellation.
All right, thank you. So yes, my name's Bill. I'm building Constellation Notes, which I started 6 months or so ago as a side project because I do a lot of reading. I like to take notes to kind of develop my knowledge about the topics that I read about. And I found the available notes apps, in particular Evernote, which I was using, to be pretty restrictive for that purpose of taking notes. So I wanted to build something that was visually very available and interactive and could store relationships between my notes across sources and not tie me into a rigid organizational framework. The idea has evolved over the last 6 months to kind of try to capitalize on a growing trend called building a second brain in an era of more intense and pervasive knowledge work. My app hopes to tighten the integration between your second and your first brain. So I chose Redwood because I just wanted to get something that would get me up and going quickly. And as a front-end developer, I specifically wanted something that was JavaScript. And I really loved seeing, as opposed to some more rigid frameworks, that this was more of a stitching together of existing tools that you might see, used in other projects. So I had been a big fan of Storybook and been using React, excited to play with GraphQL, and excited about the quality of the documentation. So without further ado, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is Constellation Notes and My Knowledge Network. This is not very useful at this zoomed out level. So one of the features that I was intent on building was a better way to find what I'm looking for and to turn up notes in context. So I've been reading a book recently called The Extended Mind, learning more about cognition. So let's say I want to see some stuff about, I've made a topic recently called thinking. So we'll include notes on thinking, which is just a few notes here. Let's say I want to hold them up with some notes that I had made about taking notes. So I had made a knowledge management topic, and as you can see, nested topics are a big part of this. So like if I pick this system topic, this is a knowledge management system for pursuing insight. This is a child of pursuing insight, child of knowledge management. I could also choose the knowledge management topic and get the entire, that whole topic. So, now I've got many notes that turned up here, and I can kind of browse and let curiosity lead me here, or I can, if I see something that looks kind of interesting, I can open up the note for viewing here. Let's say I want to, I'll just open up a few random notes here and view them all here. One of the things I really wanted for this app was to be able to see more than one note at a time so that I can interact with them. So now I can change the configuration here, look through these notes, and if I see I'm reading and my intuition reveals something to me about, some related idea, I can create a new note without having to close down and hope that all of whatever I was working with is accessible in short-term memory. I can go back and refer to this while, I'm typing up whatever about my new note and assigning a topic. A big thing that I wanted as well was like for these kind of classification data to be searchable and easy to find. So like if this topic again relates to knowledge management, I don't need to know exactly what topic I want. I search for knowledge management and I can scroll through here. I can also view the full tree. So let's say, I type in specific knowledge, that would show me where this sits in this tree. So anyways, kind of the idea was making notes more accessible and available for actually working with, and not just kind of stuffing them into a sort of electronic notebook where I might never find them again. So, going back to my expanded vision of the product, the features that are coming next are going to kind of tie into new ways to extend and make more useful some of these notes that kind of acknowledge the human as the user. So, a lot of the competition that I view as my competition is trying to play with, the AI wave. And my take is basically, if you want to actually know something, as opposed to teaching your AI to know it, that there's a different set of needs from your product. So anyways, I had been beta testing for a few months, and this weekend opened the beta testing to the public. So that had not been announced. That had just been technologically enabled. So that's the first announcement, and I'll be emailing the waitlisters later today. So if you're interested in giving the app a try, then you can go to constellationnotes.com and create an account, check it out. I will say that the consistent feedback so far from the beta users has been that it's kind of difficult to get going and make use of without a body of notes. And I think the features that I'm working on right now are exciting ways to address the issue. So that's that. Thank you for all the work on Redwood and for the opportunity to present.
Bill, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and you've been moving fast. I think was it 6 weeks ago? Maybe I saw the very initial demo, a couple months. Hasn't been long, right?
It hasn't been long.
Well, thank you for making the beta announcement today. I do love me a pretty network visualization graph, and I look forward to taking this for more of a spin. So, well done. It's really great to have you part of the community.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we have another recorded video from Ryan, who's working on, Ryan Chenke, who's working on Courselift. Ryan was DevRel at Prisma for a while, and there was he was announced he was leaving Prisma and was going to be working on his own startup. Ryan also does his own consulting work, and there was a Twitter thread back and forth between us because he announced what his stack was going to be. Redwood was not even version 1 at that time. And I asked Ryan, why not RedwoodJS? And that was about 1.5 years, maybe just 2 years ago now. And I am excited to show you the result of that conversation, which became, and I'm firing up here, Courselift running on RedwoodJS. So here is Ryan Chenke.
Ryan here, and I am the creator of Courselift. Courselift is a platform for course authors to host and sell their courses, to build their audience up, and to be able to distribute their teaching material more easily. And I wanted to show you Courselift today. It's a platform that's built on RedwoodJS. I've had a great time building on Redwood. It has been such an amazing tool to be able to develop quickly and consistently, and I want to show you what I've got today as we're in this beta state that we're in now. So this is Courselift here, app.courselift.com if you wanted to sign up and try the beta. And what I've got here is a dashboard that's showing the courses that I've got in place right now. So I've got all these students in place that have come into my courses. I've got a bunch of views. Those are coming in through 2 separate lead magnet courses that I've got, and I'll show those to you here. Lead magnets are free courses. Essentially, they are a way for you to be able to get attention to your material, stuff that you can offer for free to get email addresses in place so that later you can go and offer your paid courses to that audience. I've got 2 in place. I teach a lot about Prisma. So I've got this Getting Started with Prisma course, and I've got this Up and Running with Prisma and Planet Scale course in place. If we click into the lead magnet here, we've got all sorts of information about it. I've got all the students that have been enrolled. I've got the content that goes into the lead magnet, all of the videos, all the lessons, and then I've got some settings and other things like that. The content for this lead magnet actually comes from the studio upload area. So in Courselift, one of the differentiators is that we've got this central place where you can upload content, all the videos that you might have that you might want to use across multiple different courses so that you don't have to upload the same thing over and over. I've had to do that in other platforms and it was kind of annoying, so I decided to centralize everything into one studio area. Once the lead magnet or the course is configured, you can serve it out to students. So this is what a student will see. I've got it hosted at learn.howtoprism.com. We fully support custom domains, and you can add your domain in. You just add an A record to your DNS, and away you go with your custom domain. So here's that course I was talking about, the one with Planet Scale. And from the user's perspective, they'll be greeted with this screen. Since it's a lead magnet, they just type in their email address, and they can get an email to then access the course. And so I'll go now and check my email and I'll be able to get over to the course. So let's click access the course. And here I am as a student into the lead magnet, and I can start to view all of the videos here. So that is what I am primarily working on, is Courselift here. Out of this came an idea for another app also built with Redwood, and that is PDF Gen. PDF Gen is a way for developers or whoever to be able to put in a PDF template in the form of content like this. In this case, it's JSX, or you can use Pug if you like. So you can use code essentially to create a PDF template that you would then send some data to. We got some preview data here that is going into this preview that you're seeing over on the right side. And what you can do then is once you're published with your template, you can just grab the endpoint that this is going to be available at, and you can send data from your application to this PDF Gen endpoint and get a PDF right back. So great if you're hosting with serverless, for example, because in many cases it's tough to deploy all of the bits and pieces you need to generate PDFs like Puppeteer, all of that, when you're in a serverless environment, and this just makes everything way simpler. So I needed to be able to generate PDFs from Courselift, and this was a very good way to do so, and I decided to make it available to other developers. So if you are interested, it's pdfgen.app. You can just sign up for free and try it out if you like. Redwood has been great this whole time for developing both Courselift and PDFgen. I've loved it every step of the way. I use it as well in my agency. I've got a small agency where we build applications for companies, and in some cases these are pretty large applications. I've got 2 very, very large applications out there for some clients, and Redwood has been great the entire way. Everything that Redwood provides, the generators, all of the consistency in the documentation, everything that goes into it just makes it so much simpler to work across teams. That's a big part of it, and to be able to do things quickly. So huge thanks to the Redwood team and everyone who's contributed to the project. It has made my life as a developer so much easier, and it's made my team very happy as well at my agency. So keep up the great work, and thanks for watching my demo of Courselift and PDFgen today.
That is so great. Ryan gave me an early demo. I have a couple of courses myself, so it is a fantastic product, and I encourage you to check it out. Up next, we have Buildpass with Aaron. Welcome.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everyone. So g'day, everyone. I'm Australian, and my team is based in Australia, so we're Buildpass. So what we do is we are a construction-based startup. So the reason why I hammer with construction is because I'll share my first slide, and sometimes we get confused with building out websites as well. So I think you should be able to see my screen now. So sites done right, construction sites. So we're a construction startup, as I mentioned. We're based in Melbourne, Australia. I'm actually over in the Netherlands right now, so it's not too late for me, but otherwise it's very early in the morning for my team. So what we are is a all-in-one platform for construction sites, really kind of helping out the sites move forward as well. So a lot of the time, there's a lot of paper-based stuff on construction sites, especially in Australia. So we're about digitizing that. So whether it be things in inductions all the way through to project management, health and safety, quality assurance, there's so many aspects of construction that we can kind of help with, and we're really expanding out of our product as well. So our progress today, so we actually jumped on early on the bandwagon with Redwood. I think we were on 0.2. So since then, our team has grown to a team of 11, mostly in Australia, team of 4 full-time devs, but now we're going across the world as well. 100 customers, 32,000 users across both our mobile and web applications. And currently today, we've actually just locked away $2 million AUD in fundraising today, which is fantastic. So huge progress for us. So our tech stack is obviously using Redwood as well, but we actually have a bit of a unique setup where we actually set up using Next.js. So we actually split out our front end a bit differently. And that is also because we have a React Native mobile application. So the really important part about our app is that if you're a site manager or a contract admin on a site, on a construction site, like it needs to be accessible on your phone, needs to be responsive, and needs to be a separate app potentially with offline support as well. So that's kind of where we're focusing on and really kind of helping them out with that experience. So as I mentioned, we're a pretty big user of Redwood, and I guess our DB also as well. So we actually have a fairly large schema of 2,100 lines rather, uncommented lines. We have 82 Redwood services, and we're, I think, just cracked over 3 million database rows. We have an auditing service that hops onto all of our CRUD actions. That's probably taking up 2 of those 3 million rows, but it's good to kind of see. So we've kind of beta tested and pushed through Redwood quite significantly. So we're very, very happy with it. So we're mostly hosted on Versa. We have a bit on AWS as well. But we use some really cool other startups as well to do some other things. So Knock is a fantastic notification platform where you kind of send it everything. So whether it be our SMS notifications to people on site, emails, etc., all kind of goes through Knock. So I definitely recommend checking them out. Logtail for our logging, or Zero for auth. And we're just jumping into some OCR, so kind of computer vision stuff and AI. So it's obviously a big trend, but truly in the construction industry, there's a lot we can kind of do to help out here. Within helping out the site managers, they have to write huge reports or they're taking photos, and so we can actually extract a lot of meaningful data out of those photos for them and pre-fill reports for them. So we've started doing that, and we're going pretty ham on that one. It's pretty important for us to kind of jump into that area. So I'll quickly show a demo now. I'm overseas, so all the databases, everything's in Australia, so I'm not sure how fast this will be, but this is kind of the platform itself. It's really important that this is mobile responsive. It's all available on your phone, and also mentioned as a separate application. But this is really kind of like, it's the diary for people on the sites itself, so they can kind of access all the information they need. They can see who's signing on that particular construction site, any actions that are associated with that one. So if there's things to review, potentially there's the people inducting themselves to that particular site, and we need to make sure that they're actually reviewed. So we've built out things that like PDF services to generate QR codes to trigger these sign-on events that can happen on site. And then you can do things such as like site inductions as well. So you can, all the workers can be inducted onto the construction site. We can grab all the information digitally. So someone can move to another construction site and not have to take paper with them. It's all very accessible. As I mentioned, we have an auditing service. So it's just loading now, but it's essentially an activity feed. So we can actually see all of the audits that go on. It's very important on some of our larger construction sites to make sure that we have everything, fully audited, all backed up. So what we do for Buildpass is that we actually provide specific modules. So I won't go through them all here. There's a heap here, and this is kind of what makes up our 82 different Redwood services that we have today. But building out checklists, document management, people management, image galleries, you name it, we've kind of got it there for a construction site. We do have some pretty cool cutting edge stuff that isn't even released yet. It's been currently worked on, but the whole idea of customizable dashboards and widgets, so we can actually build out our own different reports. And this is obviously brand new for us, so it's still not even, I don't think it's in production just yet, but the concept of like, popping in components, putting in a new report component here, seeing, what needs to be done as well, and building out a customizable dashboard that can be kind of shared across organizations as well. And so we're building out new components to do this as well, to really help provide access to data in real time for construction sites, and really kind of being that site operational tool as well. So that's kind of the high level glance. It's very different to a lot of other, the startups in the area. But yeah, construction is definitely needing a lot of that tech. And so it's been absolutely amazing kind of the experience working with Redwood and the team on getting this up and running. And we were quite quick to get out to the market, and it's been, done really well as a result. So yeah, that's kind of the quick whirlwind of Buildpass.
Aaron, thank you. I thank you for traveling as well. We often don't get live demos from your team.
No, all good.
But man, those updates are blowing my mind. It's incredible to see how much you're growing, and how well the app is scaling for you. I love. Yeah, thanks for sharing the stack. Yeah. It's great. We'll follow up with more soon. But I just love having you all be a part of the community. So
cheers.
Yeah, a big round of applause to the team for building what they built. All right, next up is Asher, who's going to show us MarvelBus. So yet another unique RedwoodJS application, and there's a lot going on with MarvelBus that we haven't seen yet. So Asher, I'll hand it over to you.
All right, hi everyone. So I'm Asher. I'm near Rochester, New York, and we are working on MarvelBus. So it is. Give me 1 second. I'll just share. There we go. Cool. All right. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. So we're working on an app for student transportation. So if you're a school district, director of transportation, or a bus contracting company, we are building something to kind of bring all the systems they use together and share that information with parents and school administrators and anyone else who needs to know, when the bus is coming. So let me just restart this. Cool. So here on the left, we have the scheduler. So this is what a bus dispatcher or someone working in the transportation office would see every morning. So this is just a few drivers. Typically, our school districts would have about 100 drivers shown on the screen. So here we have a driver, their bus assignment, and then what runs are they assigned. So you can see this district has drivers doing 3 runs back to back. So typically this will be, a high school, an elementary school, middle school in some order. And then here, what you can do on this screen, you can assign drivers new buses. So this will pull up their bus information. You can find one that matches. And all of this feeds into this parent tracking system. So if I'm a parent, I want to know, where is the bus? What time is it coming? has my child gotten to school yet. So you can see I'm very excited. You can see it's a little up at the top, we need to fix the styling, but this is an actual React Native app. Until very recently, we just had a mobile-friendly website. So we actually just spun up a React Native app that just uses a web view to load our existing mobile site. And then we're going to add in more features there, especially notifications. That's feedback we've gotten from our pilot. So yeah, you can see how this kind of feeds through. So here we've got Alicia. She's on bus 1 for this route, BSM 001A. So we can see over here, Wanda Partridge would be her driver. Here is BSM 001A. So you can see if I say this route is running late, maybe this driver has called in. If I'm the dispatcher, I can just put in the new time the bus is starting its route. New, we have this notify parents checkbox. So that is sending text messages. It won't show up in this demo, but we'll just send a text message giving the parents the estimated time that the bus will arrive. So if I click save, this will refresh, and then this route is already in progress, but it will show, if there's a delay here. Yeah, let's see what else. You can sometimes runs get canceled. We can also do that. Can just cancel, also notify. You can view your live bus data. So this is all coming from GPS that's built into the buses. So our, in this case, we're using Zonar. So here we can see no schools in session right now for the district that this data is pulling from. So you can see the bus just driving around the yard, but this is very useful if you've got a parent calling in saying, a bus didn't stop at my stop. You can see what time, where was the bus and what time did it make stops, and when did it open its doors. And then the other feature we have is more for school administrators. So that's the bus status page. So here, this is showing all the runs in the district that are happening today. If I were, the principal of East High School, I would see a filtered list that only shows the runs that are coming to East High School. So this replaces currently, principals are having their secretaries call in to the Department of Transportation and ask, when is if they see a late bus, what time is it getting here? So this will enable dispatchers to communicate that pretty seamlessly. New features we're working on besides the React Native app. We are basically working on automated delay calculation. So if we see, now we're in PM, if we see that Ernest started his run PAS 14 late, and it's so late that it would mean that he's also going to be late for holiday at 4:10, then we would automatically enter a delay, and we're going to make that more granular over time. So yeah, it is this in terms of the stack, it's just Redwood with TypeScript, front end and back end. The mobile app again is React Native that's just wrapping a web view right now. We are deployed on render. We're using TypeScript. And then the map is Mapbox. And then we have integrations with Zonar right now. We're going to work on Samsara, and then we pull in data from routing software like Versatrans that actually creates the routes. So yeah, I think that's about it for me. Working with Redwood has been great, very easy to get going. I was in management for a few years and hadn't been hands-on, and had worked on JavaScript years ago before that. So it's been great getting back up and being hands-on again and seeing this be useful to customers. So yeah, I think in terms of help from the Redwood community, if you are a parent and you want something like this, or you work for a school district, or if you know anyone, any school districts that might be interested, we're definitely looking to expand. We're in Missouri right now, but kind of working with any school district in the US that would be interested in this. So definitely reach out. All right, I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that. So as a parent, I can definitely see how helpful and useful that is. We had so many bus changes in the last month of school. So an app like that would have been fantastic. So thank you for that. And the last demo that we have is with TeamStream with Chris. And I just encourage you, his demo is going to be fantastic anyways, but on top of that, we have 2 big announcements afterwards. So awesome. Take it home, Chris.
Hey, can you hear me? All right. Yeah, so today I'm going to show off TeamStream. It's a project I've been working on. It's a Twitch multi-view experience, specifically related to events. So here we go. Let's present. I'll do the entire window. Awesome. So TeamStream allows you to watch multiple Twitch viewpoints at the same time. So for instance, when you come to TeamStream/multiview here, you can just simply add any Twitch stream that you want right from here. Now, currently these are not online, but you can, when you, currently they're not online, but if they are online, you'll see a little green check mark here. And this shows that they're online. So let me toggle these off real quick. This one's offline, and we turn these on. And we'll instantly be able to see that these two are playing the game right now. Now, these two aren't actually playing in the same event, but normally when there is an event running, you'll be able to see all the viewpoints at the same time and switch instantly between them. So if you look at, we can click on this button right here and pop up full screen, instantly start watching. And if I make this full screen, you can, that's, yeah, you can switch between these full screen. And if they're not online, you can simply toggle the eye off, which keeps them still on your top bar here. But if they're not online, you can toggle them off or come into the currently watching and turn them off from here, which will completely remove them from the view. A couple cool things about this view is that you can switch between them. You can slide them around and move them. You can use hotkeys to instantly switch. The hotkeys directly correlate to the 1 and 2 on the top bar. And you can watch up to 9 different screens. So we can turn on all these players that are online right now and watch all their different viewpoints, toggle between them just by pressing the hotkeys, and switch between their different chats. So if I'm watching this guy, Jaguarez, I can click here, his chat will pop up, and I can instantly start typing whatever I want. So that's kind of the gist of the multi-view. A couple other things you can do is type by name or the team name or the team name, or you can type by just the player name, and it'll filter the list down so that you can instantly start toggling more players on. So that's the multi-view. And then if we come in the back end, we can kind of see how we create a new event. So demo event. We create this event. We can add new teams. So this is a new team. Add any players that we want. So I have a bunch of players that are already in the system. We can save. We can add an existing team, which will search all the teams in the system right now. We can add them. We can update all this event information if we wanted to, and then we can just start watching. We can start watching those players play or whoever's playing in this event. So it's super simple to get started, and for event organizers, it allows us to quickly get them online and showcase the players that are playing in their events. The biggest thing is, like, a lot of these players, they all run individual streams, and they want what they want is more viewership. And so we're trying to co-locate the organizers and the participants and like put them all in one spot, so all the spectators can go to one spot, be able to watch and switch between different players who are playing in these events. A couple other things that we've been working on the side here. This is the series view. And so what the series view allows you to do, if you have multiple lobbies running at the same time, you can actually watch multiple lobbies and switch between the lobbies and kind of update who you're viewing or watch one specific lobby at a time. This will happen a lot during events when there's multiple stage or bracket stages happening at the same time until they get to finals, when it will just be one lobby again. couple other things that we can do. We added this donate button that links out to help donate and raise money for charity. And then the last few things I kind of want to show off with the series stuff is we've been working really hard on making this like production ready for like larger AAA game studios. So a couple of the things that we have just kind of been wrapping up are the public API, which is kind of cool for Redwood's sake because we use a private API for our like entire app using the Redwood GraphQL, and then we split that off and have a separate GraphQL API that's specifically for public use. And we can reuse all the code that we use in our private API, but it's only exposed to the public when we tell it that it needs to be. So one cool thing, so you'll see that I have a series here, and I have 2 events running. And if I come over to my little app here, Postman, and I change this to series 13, I hit send, and go back, you can see that that was instantly added to the sidebar. So as these events are happening, they'll just instantly show up in real time, and you can switch between them. Obviously, that's the same. I just demoed these, so it's all the same teams, but they would be updated. And then the last 2 things I want to show off that I've been working on are this new sidebar that we're adding, which will allow you to, we're working on a plugins architecture so that any game developer or whatever, if they want to have custom stuff built into their streams or their multi-stream, they can start building out apps, or we can build out apps so they can pay us or whatever it is. And we can see a couple new things with this are the ability to switch on the toggle the chats on the sidebar instantly without having to like go into this drop down, find info, pop up the thing. And then the last cool thing that I've been working on that I think is really dope is I have this color picker that we're looking to do for branding experiences for, you know, larger companies that are interested in white labeling this. And so what I can do with this is actually completely change the colors of TeamStream. So if this is their colors, we can dynamically update all the colors. Brands can pick their colors, and everything kind of works as normally would, just in their thing. So yeah, that's TeamStream. And you could find us or find me at NJ on Twitter or TeamStreamGG if you're interested in checking it out more.
Chris, well done. It's also a member of the Redwood core team. Man, every time you demo, there's something new and awesome happening. Thank you so much. It's been really exciting to see TeamStream grow with Redwood, and well done. The UI is spectacular as always. So.
Yeah, I try to fold everything back in. So, or if we're working on new stuff in the core team, you know, try to throw it in and see how we can make it work and just test things out before they, you know, hit public release.
Yeah, thank you for being the beta tester for Redwood. So
I called it the guinea pig.
All right. Well, oh boy. Was it good?
It was fantastic. I mean, I'm just impressed by the variety.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And the size. I mean, the way that people are able to scale, how quickly people can build. It's quite impressive.
Yeah. It's, mind blowing. So to everyone that just managed to cram months or even years of your life into a 5-minute demo, thank you so much. This was really a gift to the Redwood community to see what you can build with Redwood. And again, the diversity of stacks, applications, where Redwood is being used is just mind-blowing. And you all are mind-blowing. The diversity of people, where they live in the world, who they are, what their backgrounds are. It's just incredible. And it's a gift to the community to see who you are and see what you're building. And also for the core team, like this is the fire. This is the wind in our sails that gets us excited to make the framework better and better, because you all are building amazing things. And thank you so much. So we've said this a lot in our marketing material, but not everyone needs to go raise money to be a startup or be a part of the Redwood ecosystem. There's a lot of use cases of Redwood that aren't just startups themselves, but a good indicator for us that Redwood is working is that people are building things, fundraising, growing revenue. Redwood companies that we know of to date have raised over $60 million. They're all around the world. There's $1 million in revenue from their products, and they're scaling their teams. So I think Amy, it's working.
I think so. It's a good indicator.
It's a good indicator. All right. Oh, wait, here's Tom. I should have brought you up for some of this. So Tom, a couple of years ago, Tom Preston-Werner, ladies and gentlemen, also had something to do with Redwood. I'll let you introduce yourself in a second, but Tom, probably late 21, early 22, we were planning the launch week for version 1 and roadmap to get there and everything we wanted to announce. And you said something to me that I am really fondly remembering today, which is we were looking forward and trying to imagine what was going to be possible with Redwood. And you said, you know, it'll just happen that one night you'll look up and see who's using Redwood, and all of a sudden it'll be critical infrastructure. And Redwood is now critical infrastructure. And I think we're there. What do you think? Would you agree?
Well, I mean, what was it? 20 startups showing amazing technology, amazing companies employing people, tens of thousands of users, probably more that we don't even know about. I think we're there, but it's only the beginning. Like there's so much further to go still. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll let you. So we're at the two big announcements part. Thank you for sticking around. I know we wanted to hold out to the end, but Tom, we'll let you talk about, speaking of what's coming. We'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you to all the presenters and all the amazing startups that we saw today and projects. It's really inspiring to see them. Thank you to you, Amy and David, for being our awesome hosts and keeping everything perfectly on time. I'm really amazed at your organizational skills. And thank you to the core team and everyone who's contributed to Redwood along the way. All of you are involved in this moment in time and the success of these startups and projects. And I think that's really meaningful to be a part of creating tools that help other people build faster and better. So let's talk about some announcements. All right. So announcement number 1 is about the future of Redwood and where we're going. So we've decided that our major versions get rolled pretty frequently. We're on version 5 right now. 6 is coming very soon. And we talk about epochs as being our kind of major delineation between the sort of phases of Redwood. So we've so far, and we don't talk about it that much, but so far we've been in the first epoch, which we call Arapaho, named after the Arapaho National Forest. We name our epochs after national forests because Redwood. And now we are ready to launch into the next epoch of Redwood. And so what we've been working on a lot is talking about how to solve the problem of server-side rendering. It's something that Redwood does not do very well right now. It's something that a lot of people need. And so this put us down the path of evaluating how we want to implement that. And we've been working on this for quite a while and experimenting with different technologies. And we've looked at lots of different ways to solve this. But after a long evaluation period, we have decided that the future of Redwood is going to be React Server components. We are going to go all in 100% on the React Server component pattern, and that will be the defining feature of the next epoch, which I have decided will be called Bighorn, named after the Bighorn National Forest. So Bighorn, A was Arapaho, B is Bighorn. We have many letters left, so it's the beginning of the journey. So React Server components. All right, well, how did we get there? That's still is that even a thing? The React team seems to think it's a thing. You don't see very many implementations of this out in the wild yet. And we think that that's an opportunity for us to come in at the beginning of its history and really help define what that means and become a first-class citizen in the React Server Components world. So what are the features? What are the advantages of React Server Components? We think there are many of them. First of all, SSR in general, but React Server Components in specific make certain things easier. Things like SEO. You need to be able to deliver static HTML to the browser so that search engines and other types of indexers can pick up that HTML in the best and fastest way possible and use that to show your site to people who are searching for it. So SEO, that's an obvious one, why you want to be able to deliver static HTML on your first page load. Along with that come things like OG tags, the Open Graph tags that allow your site to be unfurled on things like Twitter or Facebook or Slack or wherever, so that they can pull down that metadata and show a custom image, custom information about your site so that it looks pretty in places like Twitter. That also requires delivering static HTML and those meta tags to clients that want to pull it. On top of that, we get into things like data fetching and how do you interact from your front end to your back end. And so far, RedwoodJS has been all about GraphQL. And GraphQL is the way that you have a statically delivered React front end, a single page application, SPA, that talks GraphQL to a GraphQL API backend that we make really easy and first class to use. And that's what RedwoodJS has been based on. I think that can pose significant challenges during early prototyping phases of your application. We've heard this from people, we've experienced it ourselves. So we'd like to use React Server Components as an optional way to have a more transparent API that you might use during prototyping so that you can very quickly be fetching data from your backend, from your database. And we'll still have, of course, Prisma is still involved and it's all baked in. But that can be a way that you can hopefully move faster. You don't have to use, in this new epoch of RedwoodJS, the intention is that you don't have to use GraphQL, but when you're ready for it, when you want to add something like a mobile client or another type of a client, or maybe you want to use it from the beginning, that's fine, but you can add it later on to fit your needs. And I think there will be a really beautiful pattern where you start with React Server Components, just fetching data directly from your database. And then later on, you add a mobile client, and you start implementing a GraphQL API because that's really great for your mobile client or other types of clients. And then make it easy for you to then consume that GraphQL API also in your React Server Components, because there's no reason that you couldn't. And if you have a GraphQL API, it's very easy to consume. It's much more difficult to create your GraphQL API, but once you have it, very easy to consume. So I think there's cool patterns that we'll create there. Another factor is around performance. I have the ability and have always had the ability to deploy to serverless environments, things like Netlify and Vercel. But we find that performance can be really challenging to get there because of things like cold starts. Trying to get an entire RedwoodJS code base into a Lambda function is quite challenging. There's restrictions there. How long that function can run for. There's certain restrictions that you run into using things like Lambda. And so most of the people that use RedwoodJS end up using a server full deployment platform already because of performance reasons and just the limitations. So we want to really put the Jamstack sort of optimization behind us. That's where we started because that was kind of the initial reason for Redwood to exist, was to kind of see if we could build a framework that you could deploy on things like Netlify. In reality, for this type of dynamic applications that people are building with Redwood that we really are optimizing for, we're already serverful for the most part. Let's double down on that. React Server Components are a great fit for that. And that will be where we focus. We will attempt to make all of this stuff work on serverless platforms, but some things probably won't, or they won't work quite as well. So the future is primarily serverful for us. It's also pulling in third-party data from sites like Shopify or Contentful is a little weird because with RedwoodJS, you currently have to go through a GraphQL API. So you from your front end call a GraphQL API. Now on your backend API, now you're calling something like Shopify or Contentful, and you're kind of shuttling it through GraphQL, which seems kind of heavyweight. And with React Server Components, it will feel much more transparent. You can just do your third-party fetch directly from your React Server component, and you're done. You'll still be able to do it from the client components in the same way that you do right now with GraphQL, and we'll make that easy as well so that there's first-class sort of on-demand data fetching from the client. There's a bunch of other enhancements, advantages that React Server Components provide. Things like you have to send less in your bundle down to the client because most of it's rendered on the server and sent as HTML. And so your bundle sizes are much smaller. They can also be much, much smaller if you're using large libraries that you used to have to ship down to the client to be run by the browser. If you have a large megabyte, or megabyte size bundle that you need to send down to run that library, in many cases, you can just run that code on the server get your rendered HTML, and then ship that down either on your first page load or later on via the fancy stuff that React Server Components makes available to sort of stream down DOM changes. But it's still server-side rendered. So you can keep your big libraries on your server side for the most part. You get faster hydration because there's less code to rehydrate in most cases. And you get really easy server-side secret management because you can keep all that stuff on your server because a lot of your React code is executing and rendering on the server. And I think one of the biggest points for us is that the React team has made it very clear that React Server Components are the future of React. This is where React is going. This is where they are spending their time and effort. They're doing a lot of evangelization work on this. This is where they're going, and we want to be there with them on this journey. It solves a problem for us. It's where they're going. Let's join forces and make that awesome. We also now have a public roadmap that you can visit, and David, maybe you can put the link to that in for people, so you can follow along with that and see all the various efforts. React Server Components is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many more amazing features that we have planned. React Server Components is sort of the glue that will bind everything together, the really big point of this new epoch. But there is a lot. There's a lot of features that will be coming over the next year or several. And we hope to have some sort of experimental versions of React Server Components available soon. The team is hard at work on that since we've made this decision. Everyone's really been laser focused on getting that functional to have some really early canaries for people to try out and experiment with some of these features. It's going to be a road to figure out exactly how all of these things work and how the DX of it is going to feel right. That's really important to me, that all comes together. So there you go. That is announcement number 1. React Server Components, Bighorn Epoch. Okay, so great. That's nice, you say. That's cool to know where Redwood is going for once, and you're going to love React Server Components. So announcement number 2. Maybe you think that that's exciting. Maybe that gets you jazzed up. You're like, wow, cool. Redwood's going places. That sounds awesome to me for the next thing I want to build with. I can pick it up from the very beginning. I don't have to learn GraphQL. Thank you, Redwood. I want to talk about this with other people. How can I do that? Well, Redwood has always been focused on our community. This has always been, from the beginning, one of the pillars of Redwood. It has always been about the software itself, but also about the community and how can we build an open source community and a community in general that is really, really amazing. How can we do that well? And we'd like to take that to the next level by announcing our very first in-person RedwoodJS conference. And you are invited. It's the RedwoodJS conference. It's going to be in Grants Pass, Oregon. This is Southern Oregon, beautiful amongst the forests, the mountain forests, beautiful mountain forests of Southern Oregon. And it's going to be held September 26 through 29 this year, 2023. And there will be virtual tickets available as well in case you're not able to attend. This is a small, intimate venue, so tickets are going to be limited. We want to really have the kind of conference that we love, which is sort of smallish, and everyone can kind of get to know each other. You really get to meet people. You meet people multiple times because it's a fairly small event. But it's going to be really amazing. We're going to have amazing speakers, both from the core team and people from the broader community. And it's 2 days. So a 2 days of content, of talks. So that'll be the middle 2 days. And then there's a day on the front where we'll have workshops. And then a day on the back where we'll have optional activities that you can do around Grants Pass. So you can think of it as a kind of a destination event. And come and hang out and do some fun things with us. It's a really vibrant community in Grants Pass. It's a small town, Western US. If you haven't experienced that before, it's really pretty magical. So early bird price is up and available right now, $299 for those 2 days of the event, extra costs for the workshop. And we would love to see you there. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to talk a lot about React Server Components. We're going to talk about the future of Redwood. We're going to meet startups. We're going to be together in person, which is still a novelty. And I can't wait. So I hope that you'll be able to join us there.
unmuting now because I didn't want to interrupt you like 20 times. Tom, that was great. I love it. I love it all. It was the event, the next Epoch, the conference. I can't wait to hang out with everyone. And the website and the conference itself is going to be amazing. I've got family in town. She has no idea what I do for my job for a living. Mom has no idea, but she looked at the registration page and she's ready to sign up. So I told her to hold off. So it looks so good. Even my mom wants to come. We did design this to be intimate. We want it to be relational, and we wanted to have content curated for the people building in the Redwood ecosystem that we know. So this is an event built for you, Redwood community, and we're really looking forward to being with you. It's probably going to sell out because we couldn't invite everyone in the world. That wasn't the intention here. So if you think you want to come, I would encourage you to look forward to that sooner than later. We don't have everything listed yet. So here's what's to come. We haven't posted all the speakers yet. And just because we wanted to go live with registration, so that feels a little weird. Like, what are the talks going to be about? More info on that coming soon. There'll be talks from the RedwoodJS core team, experts across the ecosystem for the technologies that Redwood uses, and also people that are building with Redwood. We wanted, those who you saw a lot of founders who were demoing, and they're pushing the envelope of what Redwood can do. They're scaling Redwood, they're scaling their team, and that will be some of the speakers at the conference as well. So more to come on that. There will be a couple workshops. That'll be technical deep dives, more information to come on that. There is a workshop right now that will be, it's a founders workshop. We'll give a little more information on this in the coming time, but effectively, we're going to spend time with a handful of founders in a group setting, Tom, myself, a few other members of the core team, and we're going to deep dive into your code, into your product. We're going to talk startup. We're going to talk product roadmap, whatever is helpful to you. That's what the workshop is designed for. It's going to be really tight. We can only do 5 startups to join that, but more information there. That one is listed live now. And Friday is going to be incredible. I think that's why my mom wants to come. Why Grants Pass, Oregon? Look at the website and check out all the events and activities that can happen after. Those are not listed yet. Those will be additional costs to go and do those activities, and not all of them. There will be some things you can do just within Grants Pass. They'll be free. We want to have something that's accessible to everyone. Personally, I'm going to find a mountain bike, and we'll figure out how to go mountain biking if you want to join me for that. But yeah, Amy, you've spent time in Grants Pass. Tom, I know you're excited. Any more on the conference? I can't wait. We've waited for years for this, and now I want it to be here tomorrow. I can't wait.
Yeah, Grants Pass is a beautiful part of the country. And I would just also encourage anybody that's trying to plan out travel to try and stay that extra optional day on Friday, because that's really where you're going to be able to connect with people. So you'll learn lots of information throughout the conference and then debrief that and make those meaningful connections and networking that last day.
And I'll say a big thank you to Zeal, who is an agency that's who's helping us put on this conference. They have offices in an event space in Grants Pass, Oregon, and they've been an amazing partner for putting this on. And they're doing a huge amount of work to help make this thing be a huge success, and it's going to be fantastic.
Couldn't do it without them. Which is it's kind of the Redwood way, right? Like, we couldn't do this without all of you. Couldn't do this without Zeal, and really excited for them to host. And you know what? They put on a fine event. You are going to have fun. And it's because of Zeal. So, all right. So we have Bighorn coming. Redwood's going all in on React server components. We are in cahoots, a little bit in cahoots with the React team, but that's a relationship that's going to be important to pull this off. And they've been really excited and available to help us get going. All this is building up to the Redwood Conf in September. It's going to be a busy summer, Tom.
Oh yeah. It's the best kind of summer.
Best kind of summer. I think we're done. Did we do this?
Awesome. We did. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Thanks
More
for spending
information.
time with us.
More information to come.